in 25 and 2026, we didn't than what I expected, so that's good. But yeah, it's still not enough to
Yeah, the
meet
home
needs.
so our share of the home that fund is the county. The county has the rest of it. Now, does the county distribute that to other cities?
No, just well,
She's on it.
distributes it to various projects that apply. So
I know, but this is Bremerton's share because
correct.
we
We're
have
an entitlement community.
Yeah,
So if there is,
but-
I guess if there is a project in like Westboro.
our Port Orchard. Okay.
Yes.
Jennifer? Are we gonna have to sign any declarations? Are there other cities that are having to sign declarations like you're seeing?
Based on the contract that was
Working with our attorney
Yeah.
to ensure that like the.
Right, how do we limit agencies for which we receive?
Perfect. Okay, got it. Thank you.
I have a couple questions. So the BEST program, which I think is a great program, but apparently the only entities that fund it are the county, the city of Bremerton, and Department of Commerce. And there are people who live in Port Orchard and Poulsbo and Bainbridge Island who have gone to that. Is there a reason why we are the only municipality that is paying into that besides the county?
My answer to that, I guess, would be that CDBG funding, we're the only city in the county that is an entitlement city. So we have our own CDBG dollars. And so when they apply, it's for Bremerton residents. And then that program also serves county residents as well. But other cities in the county don't receive their own allotment of CDBG funds.
Because they're not poor. So I'm just wondering why wealthier communities, if their residents are also being able to partake of the program, why is it just coming out of our funds and the county's funds and not the rest of the residents, not the rest of the cities? Jennifer?
So
That's a difficult question.
I totally understand what you're asking. And what I'm curious about it, so you're saying there's other people from around the county that also participate.
And in incorporated cities too.
When I participated, they did kind of have an income qualifier. And I don't know if this is the way it is all the time, but folks that participate in this program do meet criteria. So I wanted to push back a little on these counties aren't poor. People that participate are low income.
Well, the county is helping, so
Right.
that's not my issue.
Most of the participants are from Bremerton.
Well, I'm getting a full report from KCR. They're
Okay.
putting that together.
Okay.
So I have a question on that.
I didn't think that you could answer why other municipalities, that's what I also wanted to say, is she can't
But
answer
it's-
why other municipalities aren't.
They don't
program.
qualify for
I'd also
CDBG.
say too that this is specific, we're talking about the policy plan and kind of how the program is going to go through the year. Once we get to actual funding recommendations, that would be a good time to, if KCR applies again, that would be up to you guys to discuss.
So that step is yet to come where we can make changes if,
If the project review committee says these are the projects you recommend and there's a consensus that you guys don't agree with that, then
Like when the projects come up like BEST.
Correct.
This is just,
Yeah, and I'm nothing against BEST. It's just the way it's funded is
it's not even listed on there.
curious.
the micro enterprise assistance program that also includes, we funded in 2025 the boost program through Upwards, the childcare micro enterprise assistance
Mhm.
program. So that's another micro enterprise that included that.
To be fair, that I really ever get funded.
They are, yes. And
They
again,
They finally signed their contract.
yes, and again, that's another project that was significantly delayed. They were very, very, very anxious to start. And so, yes,
Okay.
through no fault of theirs.
The conversation.
It's your turn.
Okay, so in all the research that I was doing, including the plan that the city council had given its blessing to in November, one of the things that I kept noticing were not only is it the same kind of groups of folks that are putting in the applications, but also the same advertising mechanism. So it's on our city website, and then there's a lot that's going through an advertisement with the Kitsap Sun. And I looked all over on the Kitsap Sun app, searched every way that I could possibly find something, didn't find anything other than, you know, when it had come up in conversations like for news articles. I'm wondering if we have, like, knowing that you have this pre-application portion and like we're looking at June here and then applications are closing, do we have new and more progressive ways of getting this application out to folks? Because if we keep going through the same ways, and the Kitsap Sun, you said yourself, there was no comments on it. In the 2025 plan that everybody had assigned or had looked at, the same thing happened where it was like, we ran it in the Kitsap Sun, no comments.
We hear
Older-
afterwards.
Yeah, it's an older mechanism of putting something in print news that, you know, doesn't quite reflect 2026 and some of the available ways that we have of getting advertisements out. Do we have a plan for this particular application that I know is coming in fast, but I would love to see it in the hands of different organizations?
Sure.
Because I think same advertisements are leading to same people, leading to the same money, going to the same places, and it seems like we're really needing some new ways of thinking with it.
That's point well taken. And so we do have a notice of funding availability that'll be posted this week. I'm happy to work with staff to get that posted on social media so that it's more accessible. It's also any organizations that are looking for funding that might fit this criteria. These funds are very specific and very have a lot of regulatory requirements. So a lot of times smaller organizations aren't equipped or not wanting to take on the burden of a federal program like this. But welcome any questions. If there are programs out there that are looking for information, I'm happy to.
And then will we be receiving, because I know that CAPER, is that what the acronym is? That, you know, the 2025 one, it was due at a certain time and it was best available information. But even the 2024 one isn't complete because it was like when it was kind of posted. So do those get updated online? You had mentioned that they were quarterly in one of the.
The CAPER it's a snapshot of funds expended during the program year. And because our projects are often multi-year projects and we also don't receive our funding until later in the year, sometimes they get captured in the following year. I'd also be happy to share the reports as they become available.
I just think that it's a program that a lot of people are looking at. And again, it's a fantastic program that, you know, is a mechanism to get money out in our community where it's needed. And so any available data that we have that we are giving and that transparency, I think goes a long way. And so when you're looking just from a clearly objective, like going through all of those paper reports, it was frustrating. It's like, well, what has happened with it? There's nothing. And so then you kind of start to make your own narrative that like, well, nothing happened with that. And you're exactly right. It is a multi-year approach, but we never see the end product, those goals, readily available for them. Okay, I'm all done.
Okay, does anybody else have any other comments?
I just have,
Rick?
it's just an editorial comment on the resolution. It says, whereas the city of 2027 Bremerton, that I don't think
Probably not right.
should be just city of Bremerton.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's David.
I'm looking forward to participating.
Okay, are there any other questions, comments? Okay, so this item is required to have a public hearing. So we'll see you, is it next week that you're coming up with the public hearing? Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay, next, I would like to welcome Police Lieutenant Bo Ayers here to present item A3.
Good evening, council.
Evening.
So I'm here to let you guys know that we applied for the Edward Ryan Memorial Justice Assistant Grant, which we do every year. This grant is funded through the DOJ, and those funds that are granted go towards the salary for our community resource specialist. This year, we are eligible for $16,612. It's currently pending approval. For those of you not aware of what this grant is, it is a grant to fund police departments, government agencies, and efforts for criminal justice. And it, just a little history on it. Edward Bryan was a New York City PD officer who was gunned down in the 1980s while he was guarding a witness in a large-scale drug case. The city, DOJ and Congress ended up putting forward this memorial and adding funds through the congressional budget to help fund other cities and police departments to help combat crime. This is a non-matching or any. There's no strings attached to this grant. It's essentially free money if we qualify, which we qualify. We just haven't received the approval yet.
I think I know it's probably difficult, but it's really important that every year, whoever presents from our police department does explain to the public a little bit who Edward Byrne was. And I appreciate you coming in, and I'm not sure if any other council members have any questions or concerns about it.
Michael, public safety.
I don't think it came to public safety,
Probably just because
but
it's an annual.
it's something that this is probably my ninth time
Yeah.
Mhm.
seeing this. It's a welcome part to the budget.
Yeah, and a lot of people really appreciate the work that Joe Sexton does for our city.
Yes,
So,
did a great job.
How many years have we gotten this? Have we had this grant now?
Since 2010, so this is our 17th year, or will be our 17th year.
well, hopefully they stamp it approved real quick.
And I looked at, how much is it? How much?
$16,612.
Request.
Yeah, that's what we were eligible for. And those numbers are based on basically a two-factor state population, as well as the Uniform Crime Report, which is put out by the FBI, which is essentially a statistical analysis of violent crime in your jurisdiction. So.
Okay, any other comments?
Just real quick, I'm curious, does this cover how many hours does he work? How much is left of his salary to cover? I don't really actually know that about him.
Well, it's more than 16,000.
Sure, that's what I'm saying, like, yeah.
So,
Is he full-time or is this a part-time?
No, he is full-time.
Okay, all right, that
Yeah,
answers
This is step one, step two loan. This is the design and their planning and design, and construction will be a step four loan. We have to apply for that one separately. So schedule wise, we're going to have the engineering report completed in June. We're just starting that now. We're going to submit the engineering report to ecology for approval in October. They take like 60 days to approve the report with back and forth questions. Detailed design will happen in October or December of this year. In October of next year, we'll apply for the construction loan I was just talking about. And then by the time July 2028 rolls around with the construction. Any more for questions?
Okay, did this go through public
It
works?
did
Committee?
come through Public Works, yeah.
So do you have your first shot at questions?
I mean, there were really no challenges to it.
Right. So I'll just read the recommended motion. You have the record. The recommended motion is to approve the professional services agreement for the West Side Treatment Plant upgrade planning and conceptual design with Cindy Jenks in the amount of $339,356 and authorize the mayor to finalize and execute the agreement with suspend for the same term. That professional services agreement is in your package.
Any council members have questions? Go ahead, Rick.
I'm just wondering if you have taken into account the additional input that may come from the Navy in the future. I mean, you already received some effluent from the dry docks, correct?
Additional flow coming into the.
Right.
So the treatment plant design is not at capacity now. The treatment plant's capacity anticipates additional growth.
Okay.
How much, I'm not sure off the top of my head. These, the comprehensive plan that we just got done looks at future growth and future flows going into the treatment plant. And these components are one of the reasons we do a planning and design report is to look at additional growth and how these improvements will handle that additional flow going into the treatment plant. So the answer to the question is yes.
Is some of the new ships that come next door have a lot higher flow. And so I'm going to presume you're working with NAVFAC and some of the other Navy agencies to, and it doesn't necessarily affect today's, but looking forward, in the next 5 to 10 years, just understanding what the future holds for the city would be useful. So that's my only comment.
Maybe they could help pay for it.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be really great. I wish I knew somebody who has experience with that could or the Navy to pay for more projects.
Yeah.
I'm a nobody,
Well,
but I do.
that's what we
I
all
do know
are.
that there is, there's a close relationship between the city and the Navy when it comes to wastewater. So.
Right. Well, we did the Central Bremerton Force Main, paid for by a grant through the Navy.
Yeah.
And the pipeline size went from 14 to 18 inch on the west side of the slope in anticipation of that very thing. So additional capacity has been built into the Central Bremerton Force Main, which carries the Navy's wastewater to our treatment plant.
Okay.
So yeah, we are in lockstep with all of that growth and additional flow capacity needs in the future, making sure that the facilities can.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So I have one question. You have a projected cost of the project all combined, but that may go up or down based on Kennedy Jenks' design and study, correct? Okay, great. Anybody else have any questions? Well, thank you for your presentation. We appreciate.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh,
And
consent.
I was gonna ask that after I said goodbye to you. All right, consent, everybody okay with?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you, Mr. Phil.
thank you. Next, I would like to welcome wastewater manager Eric Burris here to present item A5.
Same.
Evening, Mayor and Council. So this evening, I'm bringing a proposal for a 3-year contract with Industrial Software Solutions for tech support and maintenance for our SCADA system software, which is under the trade name Aviva, formerly Wonderware. This is a service that we've used for many years. So as far as fiscal impact, there really isn't any, other than the 3-year agreement will save a little over $9,000 over 3 years on a 3-year contract. Staff did ask if there was a longer option, a 5-year, and the vendor didn't agree to it. So 3-year is best we could do. And although I don't know that specifically called out in the accoutrement that you folks have, the contract does include annual training opportunity for my staff. That would normally cost around $3,000. So that's included with it. So
Great.
that's all I have. Question.
So did this go through
Yeah,
Public Works?
we enjoyed the presentations from Mr. Burris. And we always like hearing it's gonna save us some money and training. I know that's a priority now in Public Works, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rick?
So SCADA, you're using it, your wastewater, right?
Mhm.
And we also use SCADA in the other water system.
Yep,
correct?
water resources.
Water resources. Are they similar? Are they two different SCADAs? SCADA is a pretty powerful.
I think it's the same software, but I don't keep track of the wastewater side. I can't speak for water resources. I think they have a contract with somebody.
But you guys are not interchangeable?
Not right now. We've talked a little bit about that, and maybe something in the future we might
Yeah.
try to do. But for right now, we're kind of stuck with this.
I'm not saying the software, I'm just saying from an emergency management standpoint, something like that, there could, an operator could have some familiarity with the
Yes.
water resources side versus the wastewater side.
Yeah, there is potential for that. And my folks, we have talked a little bit with water resources as far as their stuff. So that is something that could, feasible.
Yeah, okay,
We're in talks.
all right. Well, I'm just saying that, cross-training and backing up and planning for, the potential of some sort of a disaster that wasn't anticipated, and you're going to grab every available hand to this.
I think there's probably a little bit of element of that right now, but we probably need to build on it.
Okay, I'm not giving you a job. I'm just.
Oh, no,
I'm just saying, backing up and interoperability is sometimes can be valuable in a disaster.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
thanks.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions, comments? How should we treat this? Consent. Thank you, Eric.
All right.
Okay, next, I would like to welcome Assistant City Attorney Brett Jett here to present item A6.
I do the same thing with
I will now.
50-50 chance.
Good evening, council. So this is a resolution regarding a commemorative flag policy for city property. I bring in at the request of council, but I just wanted to talk about why there's a need for some sort of flag policy, and it stems from some litigation elsewhere in the country. The city of Boston at one point was allowing folks to basically rent the square in front of their town hall. And if you did that, then you could raise a flag on their flagpole. They had no policy about what flags could be raised. And then, of course, one was raised that they objected to. And they declined to let them raise the flag. A lawsuit ensued, and it was a First Amendment violation. And so it's key that any flags that are being flown on city property are speech of the government itself, rather than speech of other individuals or allowing individuals to have the option to raise a flag. And so this policy, its main focus is that flags that are being flown on city property are being done at the speech of the city and not other ones.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from
And we've
council?
never had a policy on this before, have we?
The city council has never issued a policy regarding this. And yeah, so this particular one has two commemorative flags that council is acknowledging, and then it identifies the poles that it'll fly on. Those they may seem randomly selected, but talking with staff who maintains the flags, those are poles that have space available to fly another flag without removing any flag. So that's why those ones were chosen.
Your question?
The second question I have is, I know we were working with our association in this building on, no, okay.
They voted no.
They voted no.
Oh,
That's why we asked
okay,
our assistant city attorney to help us.
right. So, well, just so the public knows, we aren't the only, the city isn't the only owner in this building. And so the other owners or leasees,
Honestly,
perhaps.
this is a different topic though.
Oh,
Yeah, this is not for the flagpole down there. This is
Okay.
for this is
anywhere
for,
else in this?
Public Works Facility,
Gotcha.
Sheridan Park Community
Gotcha.
Center, Pendergast, and
Gotcha.
the Bremerton Boardwalk.
Thanks for that reminder. We've been talking about
Those would be-
flags a lot lately.
Yeah, so those would be the four. It doesn't apply to the court.
Yeah.
And it's in addition to the US flag, not in place of the US
Right.
flag, because I was looking all over for that in there, but you said it out loud, and I was like, that's an
Should be
important point,
included.
like,
Make sure that wording.
I was gonna say, I didn't see anything that like expressly, so if it is in there, it was, because I was skimming it.
The
Right. Yeah, that was just an important point that I think should be brought up, it's in addition to.
Are there any comments, additional comments, questions from council members?
So, my only comment is, the Pride Progress flag, which is, I had to look that up. So it's not the usual Pride flag that we may have been accustomed to. So I'm just saying it'll prompt questions to the city staff.
and council's free to choose whatever flag they would like. That's not.
I think is that what I would think of as inclusivity flag? What am I?
It's the one that has like the triangle
Yeah.
on the left-hand edge. And it just incorporates a little broader inclusiveness. There's even,
And that's the one that's included
that's the one that
in
we,
this.
that's the one,
Okay,
yeah, I think it's.
I'm familiar with
It's
that.
currently the most
Yeah,
widely used flag.
I was
would
looking
say.
at small ones to maybe put on the
So-
dais.
One question I have is, so is this gonna happen automatically, or is this, does somebody have to request this, but then this is approved? Does that make sense? Is the
They
city gonna,
give some dates.
I understand, but is the city buying 4 flags and gonna make this happen on Juneteenth and Pride? Or does somebody need to request from the city, and then what's the process on that?
Oh, I see what
I
you're
love the idea of flag flying on the boardwalk to welcome people to our city,
Mhm.
like, I think that could be really cool.
It shows a fiscal impact for us, that the cost of purchasing any necessary flag.
But do we have, do we have council budget for this, or is this something that?
We can take it out of our training budget if that's what's
I'm
necessary.
happy to give up some training.
I mean,
I was gonna say, it seems
By
like.
cost of the material. Oh, I just got a ton of money in it. I mean, I feel like we could partner fund on this.
We can figure
I
it
think-
out. The mayor says we can figure it out.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think we need to
That's fine.
It'll happen.
So I think to your question, what you were asking specifically is if we take this to a vote, and we vote it in next week, does it happen in time for June 28th?
Yeah, right.
And that's an administration question, because it's the city that'll
Which is
be.
also too bad of this June. Depends on,
Well, that's the same date.
flags can be ordered. June 5th is the Pride, night market at the boardwalk.
Oh,
Oh,
I got an extra flag.
maybe we should have got this
I have no
done
problem getting
last,
flags.
last
we can provide
year.
the flags.
If only we would have gotten an
I'm all set.
answer from the
I've got
health
a flag.
district.
All right, although city
We
flag,
can-
flagpole
America
flags sometimes
donate
are bigger.
his.
The average household flag's gonna be like a 3x5.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even smaller, sometimes like a 2x4,
2x3.
and then bigger, the city flagpole, because.
Yeah.
So
They're bigger than they look.
They'll figure it
that
all
actually
out.
brings up a really good point, though. So in this, it's very prescriptive. It shows when each flag can be flown except for the sister city, like if somebody's in town kind of thing. And the POW flag doesn't have a very specific date, but the other two do. If by being that prescriptive with it, would we possibly be creating issues for ourselves with that? Like June 5th is not within that window that's just on this piece of paper.
And so, go ahead, I'm sorry.
This would only rest flying of those flags on those dates.
Can I give a little context about the dates? We chose those dates for the previous resolution that will now need to be removed, to be honest, because our condo board has voted it down. Those dates are symbolic at the beginning of Stonewall to the last weekend, which is the end of our Kids Out Pride.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because he had a very valid point, that there was an event going down that would make sense for that, as written, it would be a problem.
Do we add a word like usually shall be flown? No.
I would not
I would-
advise that. I would
Can we
stick
change
with
the date
specific
to
dates.
accommodate it?
And honestly, there's probably gonna be a lot of rainbow flags.
There probably will. It's
And
like,
to fly it for a commerce activity is different than flying it for commemorative.
I'm 100% behind that.
Okay.
But I would like to have some pomp and circumstance when we put it up for the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Heck, yeah.
June,
I bet the mayor can make that
and
happen too.
it's at June 28th. It's a Sunday.
Oh, does it conflict with your schedule, Michael?
Well, Sunday, is there's more is city staff gonna do on a Sunday when they're not working.
We usually have
Oh, I
park
think
staff
park,
still working
yeah.
on Sundays.
At every one of these flagpoles?
I think that's something the administration can figure out. I don't think it's something we need to figure out here.
Okay. All right.
So how should we treat this? Consent or general business?
Uh,
I
I
would
recommend one change
Sure, what's that?
on the Pride one. It says flown, could it say flown annually from the last Sunday in June instead of June 28th? So because
Will it
the way
always,
so like the commemorative day for Pride is honestly the last weekend. So we could be putting it up, days after region basically support,
the last Sunday in June in 2030 is the 30th of June.
Say
so that's probably not, I'm sorry, okay.
sometimes they
Fourth.
just say
Should
sometimes.
say
But
fourth.
sometimes it'll be earlier.
The date was significant to us. I mean, I'm agnostic to it, but I do want to say that date is symbolic and significant. And I feel like that specific date, I mean, that is the date.
Yes, but because of the observance falls differently, then the observance could happen, and then we put the flag up 3 days later.
I like Michael's idea of if
The
culturally
last
it
Sunday.
starts the last
Yes, because
weekend.
like
of
so
June.
this month, the 28th is on a Sunday. That's when like Seattle will have its big stuff.
Mhm.
It's when New York and San Francisco and all the big cities do all that. So, or the weekend of that. So like, there's a ton of things going on the 27th. There'll be tons of folks leaving Kitsap on that ferry,
Mhm.
going down past that boardwalk, going, and it would be great to
Mhm.
have that flag waved to
Mhm.
send them off. But if the month starts on Friday, for instance, then the last weekend is gonna be like, the Seattle events will all be on the 22nd, and it's gonna be 5 days later before we put the flag up.
You wanna do the fourth Friday?
Yes.
Okay, because then
Yes.
that's during when
Yeah, I think so, right? That will
workers
always
are
work.
on. Fourth Friday, I mean, yeah.
Fourth Friday,
Let's
and then,
go.
but then that's a work day, so we can have, maybe on the boardwalk, the mayor, we get whoever needs to be there, invite the community, and we could do it.
And maybe
So
you never
Brett,
hear
is this something
before.
that you feel like you have enough information or could talk to? Yeah, clarify,
Fourth
get clarification,
Friday
because the
for a
point
long
is well
time.
taken. I think we all agree with the point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna look
Yeah.
tone deaf, like, everybody's like woo-hoo doing it, and then like,
Right,
then
and
it's-
then, ooh,
no.
it's too late.
it's like almost like we
Yeah.
put it up as.
I like the fourth Friday idea. It looks like it doesn't conflict with that specific commemorative date. And, for years and years, decades to come, I don't see a conflict, but.
And we wouldn't have to change the Juneteenth language either, because that one goes through the fourth Monday in June. So those
Okay.
two would jive, because that was the only thing with the 28th and the fourth Monday.
They
Occasionally,
never
they
intersect.
never do. Okay, I was like, I was going through trying to figure
He
out.
would
so we're
check
good.
something like that.
Happy.
Okay, thank you.
And then you are gonna.
So do you want to do this consent or general business? Oh, I'm sorry, you had another question?
Well, I just want to make sure Christine's comment was, when she thought that the American flag
Okay.
is still flown at the top of the pole. It doesn't, she's right, it doesn't specifically say,
I mean, this was specifically addressing commemorative flags, not the flying of commemorative flags.
Which
We-
they're covered under
I-
the US flag code.
Yeah,
Okay.
it all, there's,
Cool.
where it can be on the flagpole and all of that.
Thank you.
It does state all flags are city property, so it's laid in accordance with federal state statute.
It does.
The first thing.
Okay, so
Thank you.
consent or general? I'm good with consent.
I'm good with
It's my
consent.
vote.
Good.
You need
Okay.
me to say yeah?
No, there was just,
The two changes.
there was one more thing that I just wanted to highlight that I didn't get the opportunity to
Oh.
highlight, and it was the POW MIA flag.
Yeah.
That it will, be flown, this is written to where that it will be flown, in replacement of any other commemorative flag on specific dates. So there will be some dates in June that, June and
That's a lot of-
July.
You
That
have to hire somebody just for flag poles in
just,
June.
there's 2 days, one in June, one in July, that the POW flag is required by law to be flown
Yeah.
out to certain places. And this isn't gonna displace that.
Proud to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can we get a POW prize tag?
Okay, next I would like to welcome City Attorney Kylie Fennell here to present item A7, Public Space and Street Renaming Policy.
Everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so this item was on the agenda for 2 weeks ago, and then we moved it to today because President Kowalski was not feeling well. She was very sick, and so we wanted her to be here for the discussion. But in the meantime, it took us to committee, so some of you, this is going to seem like a repeat of, unfortunately, new material, but I'm just going to be getting it from the other 4 folks who didn't hear the committee presentation. And so,
It went through Public Works.
yeah, so this is what's going on, is that the city does not have a policy to guide decision-making when it comes to community members making a request to rename a public street. What we have in our code is a code that was adopted as a part of emergency response throughout the county to improve addressing and it changed the standard by which street names could be, or should be named. And so there was a process for staff if they identified a street name that didn't comply with that to make a change, and some standards related to that. But we don't have something where a group of community members or even, elected officials can make a petition that the city rename the specific street. And I think a lot of people have seen that in other cities that you visit. Sometimes you see a name, it's, on there that looks like obviously it's a historical figure or something that's been honored by having the street renamed. And then sometimes you might also see a different colored placard below an official placard that has a memorial designation, almost like a historical marker. Comes through brown, which is in the colors that they use for street signs and stuff. Brown is what they use for like historical markers. So looking around, so in the past, the city has granted a request to rename a street. You might recall that 7th Street wasn't always MO King Way. That process is outlined in the memo. I won't go over it. It was pushed forward by some community members as well as council members many years ago, and it was approved by the city council. And you do have the authority to approve it without a policy. So the first overarching question is, do you want a policy? I think a lot of folks on council do like having a policy because it can help ensure that decisions like this are done consistently. We don't get these a lot, but we could get more. And I recommend that we have a policy just to guide your decision making and give you an idea of how you should evaluate these requests, but it's up to you. So I got the input from the folks at committee that a policy was a good idea, but I'm open, if other people have different ideas, we don't have to have a policy. You can just make a decision. But I'm not here.
She's going, let me know now so I won't do anything more.
I know.
Well, and some of the things we kind of talked about that were important. in
She
public
goes,
works.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I think we talked generally that, that people who are affected by the street naming should be, in charge of that. I mean, it feels like very logical that people who are affected, who may have to change all of their bills, potential impacts on their credit report, that they should have some kind of, vote. And I don't know exactly what that would look like. I think that's
Yes.
an overarching question, is what does that process?
So one of the ways I've seen cities incorporate that concern in their other policies is by requiring a petition, similar to what we do with annexation.
Okay.
If you're going to be if you're on the street and it's going to be renamed, that a certain level of support, a threshold of support, has to be gathered by the person promoting the change. And so I've seen cities that as low as 50% and as high as 75%. And I've seen it also done by linear frontage. And I've also seen it done by one vote, one parcel. I'll say the math. The person's not good at math. One vote, one parcel is a lot easier to figure out, but otherwise it would be figuring out the entire length of the street. A vote for a person who has a very large parcel could, take you very close to a high percentage, which doesn't really address the address concern that Jennifer brought up. Does that make sense? So you could have one large parcel that could end up being a high percentage. So that's just something to think about. And I don't really need like consensus on all of this right now. Working with putting together a policy we're going to listen to your input and we're going to try to bring back something for you to approve that we hope incorporates what it is that council wants. So those are just some of the points, like high threshold, low threshold, where the cost, how the decision making is done, and whether you want this to be an easy process, do you want it to be a high bar to make a street change name, that kind of thing. And so, so the memo that I prepared, and this was back on the 8th, and so this was for the study session on the 13th. So I have talked to the committee since then. I did not update these materials. Just goes through the application process that 7th Street change went through, the relevant code section that only talks about basically for consistent with emergency street naming, that kind of thing. and gives you some feedback points of that other cities have adopted as a part of their policies. And so I'm open to listen and to hear like how what your initial impressions are of this and what you'd like to see, and then we'll hopefully bring something back that incorporates that. It might have some decision points, like I might have petition, at blank percent, and say, here's your options, pick, 50, 60, or 75, or 90 or whatever.
There were public safety issues that were brought up in committee as well. I think Inspire especially, that isn't a big fan of the honorary street names because it could be confusing. Because I think some on the committee seemed to be, oh, let's go honorary. And then, there's obviously challenges with that as well.
Like I said, we can look into that too.
Yeah.
If there's a way that we can make that less of a concern.
Well,
I mean,
What-
honorary is very confusing.
Honorary, though, is what many large cities do. It's what Seattle does. It's what Tacoma does. So I don't know how confusing that is. But then I had a talk with the police chief, and he was pointing out how confusing it is. It's more confusing when you're changing the name of the street in a grid, like you're on Marine View Drive, then you're on Adele, and then
Yeah.
you're on whatever that,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what the name of the street is after it's
Like a
Adele.
certain section of 8th Street when it's,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's differing points of view on that. And one thing too is honorary typically is it always is a different color. It wouldn't be like our blue signs or the county's green signs. It would, either be brown for historic or purple if you're,
Mhm.
like
honoring.
lavender color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lavender color.
Maybe it could be.
Now, I have a question for everybody. Are you thinking that this would be streets that people live on or get mail on? Like, what if it was an alley or a street that was just a thoroughfare? And because the problem is,
And that would be honorary, wouldn't it? Because the alley doesn't have a address.
right,
Right,
But
so that
that's-
would not be renaming. I asked that question. So
Yeah.
I was like, is this about the alleyway? No, it's not. That would be a brand new name.
right,
So that's a different process than a renaming.
okay,
Like MLK,
right,
there was a process that they went through. It is a section that is connected.
non-travel way. Or,
Like it's on a grid, it wouldn't be
Contiguous.
continuous. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that one was a little easier, like you were talking about the problems.
Yeah, and so that was another good thing to bring up, and I'm sorry, it just reminded me, is the scope of what I'm drafting with Public Works right now is just on street renaming.
Mhm.
We might want to talk about another policy at some point about everything renaming. But the reason I wanted
Yeah.
to focus on streets,
Yeah.
or even not even renaming, but naming, like what is
A brand new name. a
brand new name, like
yeah.
how do we decide what things get named? The reason I focused this on streets after giving it some thought, because some places do put them together, is that there are some unique things to street renaming, and it seemed that a lot of council members sharing concerns about impact to existing homeowners and business owners, which isn't a big deal when it's like a park that's
Mhm.
getting
Right.
renamed or a new name, like Nathan Adrian, I believe, was a new name.
Mhm.
And so it just seemed like there were some different concerns related to this issue, and so it kind of deserved its own policy. It also fit well into our code, in our streets code for this, where I think maybe doing a renaming policy for other things could be handled separately.
We definitely kept in mind the demographics of Bremerton and realizing that for some of our residents, an address change could have a negative impact on their credit. And so just being mindful of those things, that the impact, yes, it's a feel good, but it does have impact to our citizens that we need to mitigate, at least consider.
And that's why I'm kind of nervous about a petition, because you could have two people on a 2-block section that they have to change their mortgage, they have to change their driver's license, they have to change their car insurance, their homeowner's insurance, all their utilities, right? But meanwhile, the people who own 95% of the frontage or 95% of the people, they don't feel that's an issue to them. So I'm very nervous about going to a full Cornwall Street name change.
So,
Yes.
and I wasn't here, but started on this conversation, but I would like this to be the rarest of things. That's
Mhm.
where I would like to see it created. So
Special.
yesterday I was in Austin, Texas, and they have Cesar Chavez Way.
Mhm.
Do they still?
Do they
Do they
still?
want to?
Exactly.
Well, that's why I'm bringing.
Yeah,
Conversation.
yeah.
So, and so also, like somebody could put their name on
Mhm.
something and then we could find out they're a horrible person
Mhm.
and then that name's on there and you have to scrape it off. So I just want to, I want to make sure that it's just the most rare and solid thing. And maybe it's a name that, stands the test of time and it's on a 20th anniversary of someone's passing or something like that.
There are cities that make that a requirement.
Yeah.
I've seen that, I think it was maybe Chicago, which
In
has
Memorial.
basically put there's like a whole tourism industry around their historical shrines. There's like companies that will take you on walking tours. And
Oh, yeah, I've been on the boat tour.
they, I think theirs does require that it's only on people that have passed and they have it has to have been like, I think 30 years.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact, but I remember thinking it was quite some time. But I'm guessing that's probably why, but,
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from Jane is that you want no official renaming except pursuant to the existing policy. And then, what some places do is they have the exact same policy for memorial renaming. And so that under a petition or, like a application to re your name, the city could grant it, or they could say no and then give them a memorial. Or you could just simply say, we're not going to rename official street names except unless they're required, by these standards that were already in the code. And these are all the factors that we consider for a memorial designation. Is that what you're saying? Like, you're okay with memorial, just not official names?
Yeah, I'm cool with just honorary,
Oh, yes, or not
Signs,
memorial,
yes.
historical or with
Yeah.
but
Should they
official,
even, should there be?
but we
like,
need
we're-
criteria for
We're
it.
talking about obviously a start, possibly after, this, whatever. But should it be for 10 years? Should it be forever? Like,
No,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying, but
Yeah.
I hear, so.
Yeah, some of them do have a historical
Sorry.
designation or memorial designation that is only for a specific
It's
time,
not required.
and it has to be
It's another wrinkle.
reapplied for or reinstated or something like that. I did see that in the policy that I was.
Tacoma has a good one online with resources.
I did look
Shelley.
at theirs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's limited in duration. This is the way of doing
Yeah.
it.
Because I also do like the neighborhood markers that some cities use.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I would love to, I think that really gives like neighborhood pride and things
Yeah, it
like that.
does.
So like, for these like,
Like Union Hill.
yeah, Union Hill, right over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It'd be kind of cool to see that. But then, like, I don't want it to look like somebody's conference badge that we've got like, Union Hill, Bob's family, Sally Smith, and we've got all these like,
There shall be
different
only
things.
one.
yeah.
So that I did see that in the policy. Is it has the street already gotten so
Yeah.
criteria or
That's actually a good point. Let's say somebody didn't like that MLK got changed to MLK, and then they want to come in and get it, submit a change to change it back or to change it to something else, and like,
Mhm.
anyway.
Hopefully extends
Anna?
Thanks. So, when this came before Public Works Committee, I made the point, and if I'm repeating what's already been said, I truly apologize. You guys know I've all been having fun with gig of it, Kaiser. No, we've been working. Yeah. And is the point that,
we have a lot of turnover in Bremerton. And so the changing names adds confusion. And Chance made the excellent point that I think you just reiterated, Denise, that
Yeah.
how many changes are needed and how it will negatively impact the credit because it means that you move. Denise also made the point that Tacoma has 75% of neighbors have to agree and they have to pay the full cost of the installation and maintenance. And if 75% of neighbors are agreeing on this name change, that sort of removes the like the burden that you're putting on people.
But then
So are you discussing like for honorary or for permanent?
For a permanent, but that was my proposal, is that we keep the permanent name, like 8th Street will still be 8th Street, and underneath it, there can be like a brown historical
Right.
market that says.
That's an honorary
site
sign.
of, You know,
Right. And so the standards can be,
Roxy Theater Inception.
I mean, you can write the code where they're only name changes based on what's been in the code already. And that those are initiated by staff and it has to do, I don't know that we still, I think everything's cleaned up. I haven't seen one, but there was a period of time where they were, you wouldn't want to have, let's just say we had Birdwell. And, like, is it too close where you wouldn't want those two streets because they sound the same or something like there was some things that were.
Well, actually, I was doing a construction job up off of Werner Road 20 years ago. And there was an accident where somebody got hurt severely. When I called 911 and said we were on Francis Street at the end, there's 3 Francis Streets. Can you tell us which one? So it's really important that we think about that it's not.
I always
Close.
confuse Harlow and Marlow.
You know what? I actually had
Olympic.
a situation where police came into my house because the street was said wrong. Chester and Chestnut.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they came into the back of my house
Yeah.
and I had to find out through my neighbor. So anyway,
Yeah.
and those are just so similar sounding and they're on different sides of town.
Right.
So it's not, so I'm feeling like,
We're just here to give Kylie, Input.
Just listening to you.
yeah,
Because back to the sort of like 75% or something, like, you don't want to wear somebody maybe because of their family and some, like
It's intimidating.
choose and they choose a block or would 6th Street, could I get my block changed to mine because I bribed the AutoZone and then somebody else down the street gets like, so it's like.
You gotta work the
6th Street,
donut shop. though.
Jones Street, 6th Street, good now. Like,
I have seen that. I think we want to have that in the policy that that the street can't be, the name can't be, appear to be for like
vanity.
private gain. So, and I can tell you,
Vanity.
my hometown has Kmart Drive. Kmart has not been there for 30 years, but everyone still has their business and their house on Kmart Drive. So, yeah.
You also made the
not to
point
claim
that
the name.
where a street jogs, like 8th Street when it hits Warren, that naming it up to Warren, like where it's one continuous thing.
I
would
think,
be a requirement.
yeah.
That doesn't apply to MLK, but that's okay.
Right, well, yeah, but, and I think for the memorial designations, doing the whole length isn't as important.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but yeah.
I think the one concern that was brought up as valid is even with honorary names, there's confusion with emergency services. And individuals who might be saying, Joe Schmo's Street, I'm on Joe Schmo's Street, but like it's 7th Street or whatever. So,
Get computers for that.
huh? For Joe Schmo's?
No, it's just computers that would create an
Well, we can, why don't
equivalent.
I can certainly look out, like, and try to figure out, like, what's being done in other places that keeps this from happening or it mitigates that concern or.
Did you get my list?
I did.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was looking through to find what the heck those questions were. Okay.
No, I got your list after this thing was created.
Perfect.
Okay, I agree. Council President Revulowski on the costs of the homeowner and, you know, particularly a business if they're changing logos and
Stationary.
and
Websites.
yes, websites. To get a, you know, to get an enhanced driver's license, you've got to present a utility bill with your name and address on it, for example, to prove you want. So there could be some complications there. Secondly, there needs to be a double or triple check on the spelling. Particularly if it's like Wyckoff is spelled wrong. And Bremerton, that's a famous one. That is not the way you spell Lieutenant Wyckoff, who found the shipyard. That's his name is misspelled on that.
Paul's supposed with misspelling too.
Yeah, the city's.
The city is spelled
Right
wrong?
downstairs.
Supposed to be an
on
A.
One of it's not related to a street, but Kuntz is spelled wrong on one of the documents commemorating Norm Place's contribution. So spelling is important. And lastly, a historical record of why the street was named and you know, if it was 7th Street and now it's
I think that'll be
Canal
like
Way, we would
yeah.
have a historical record of.
I think it'll be in the resolution, it's adopting the name change would be set out in the whereases. And then those are maintained as a part of our retention schedule. So it would be this action of the city council adopting the name change. So we could say, you know, whereas,
History would be in the whereas.
whereas this
Yeah.
person was, you know, let's just say it's a person, it can be, I mean, it's not always a person, it can be a movement, it can be an event, you know, whatever. So, but I think we could lay those out, like the reason of what
Yeah.
the record that's supporting that. I think some cities, I mean, obviously they require support letters to the council, and so you know that could be supported by like the historical society, like the Bremerton Historical Society or the Kitsap Historical Society, that could you know, educate the council on the historical importance of the individual or impact or whatnot.
They'd like that.
They would like that.
Okay, and then my last comment is a new street.
Those are different.
I know, but is there, you know, we open a new plat in a portion of Bremerton. The developer gets to name the streets.
We already have code for that.
We have code for
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
It's been working as far as I know. Yep. All right. Yeah.
So they,
No need to change that one.
I'm not suggesting change it, but there is a potential overlap there for.
Right. So what I would say, so how I would draft the policy would be that any proposed change has to also comply with that. It isn't a way to get out of that. So
Okay.
it would need to comply.
So
again.
But
I'm sorry.
we received a
defer.
request, and in looking at how to handle that, we realized we don't have a policy, and other cities do.
Okay. Thanks. So one of your questions in here or comments was, does this need to go through a public hearing?
Mhm.
I'm thinking, and this is just my thoughts, that if it's just a honorary street name, that it wouldn't have to, but it could be on general business where if somebody had some major concern, they could say something, but you know, I'm not in favor of officially changing any street name. I'm just talking about if it goes to a honorary or memorial, whatever we're calling it, name change, I don't feel that we need a public hearing.
Do you want a straw poll or anything on
No, I
how?
don't. I'm just listening. I
Okay.
can keep track. I don't know that.
I'm curious why you don't think a public hearing is necessary. A public hearing is similar to receiving public comment. I kind of don't know even necessarily what the difference is between public hearing and public comment. So,
Well, it's a lot more formal when you have a public hearing and the advertisement of it is different and. So I think the question was raised.
categorically, data-wise, it's very similar, but you were about to tell me. Is it okay if I hear from you?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead on it.
So a public hearing is often a requirement of a grant. It's often a requirement of
of certain things to comply with our code. So it's like it comes from generally from the RCW. Public comment is just,
And in this case, you're making the law, and so
Got it.
this would be, what would it, the result of this would be that in the future, this council would be setting the policy that future councils would abide by, meaning that they couldn't put this on consent without, or they couldn't, let's say at that point in the way that they're conducting business, they're not accepting public comment, oral public comment at meetings.
But a public hearing ensures public comment.
Right.
Okay.
I think but to back up where I at least thought you were going, and so I can remember what I was going to say, is I was kind of thinking now it's sort of honorary, maybe it has something to do with something that somebody who lived there, somebody who lived on the block, you know.
That's another requirement. This
Meets
is-
the criteria.
So that it's almost, to me, putting up a little like, you know, birthplace of, you know, Jane Rivulowski or something. Is closer to like
Page, New York.
closer to a like a resolution designating it, you know, Rick Tiff Day in the city of Bremerton. So it's more, it's just more honorary. It doesn't seem as like you know,
I agree.
What I'm hearing is
people's
that-
voices are always welcome and they'd be welcome, but I guess I was following the idea that a formal hearing, if we're gonna change, you know, Sixth Street, we're gonna, you know, like that
Right.
impacts lots of people. If it's a plaza, a block, you mentioned an alley earlier, that it just seemed, it could be different, but it also could follow the same policy. And we would have one of those public hearings where we gavel in
Mhm.
and we gavel out. Because
So-
that really has strong.
And I guess as far as the theme and like what I'm getting from it is that there's what I'm hearing, Jane, is that a consideration of perhaps a less robust process if it's only for memorial or historical designation. Because Jane doesn't want to have official changes in any,
But yeah, I don't want any official.
okay, and I'm seeing Christy nod, I guess.
me neither.
Okay, and Anna and Rick,
Well, I just complicate matters, but sometimes a street was named, you know, they named it Sandpiper Court, should have been Sandpiper Way. So they want to change it from court to way. That's a street change, that's a name, and it might be confusing.
Well,
But I think that's addressed in our
Yeah,
code already.
yeah,
but another thing would be, we have a street like Wyckoff that's already named after, like, what if that was the choice to change to MLK or something like that? Like, it's already named after somebody.
Yeah.
So you get a, can you redo a name?
I think there would need to be criteria. I think that's what you're getting at, is first round is, should we have criteria for actually renaming a street? And then the second thing is, if here collectively, we're not seeing that, then kind of pivoting and doing, well, if it's a historical marker, then where are the criteria? What would the application look like? What's the
Yeah.
thought process?
sure.
And noodling that.
So that is exactly it. So this is definitely an area of local concern. And so we don't have a framework that we have to follow. We can use other cities as guidelines, but it's not like there's a state statute or local code for this. Absolutely, the city council can take the position and adopt a policy that official street naming will only be done under the circumstances of the adopted code that we already have. And that's been working. That's to deal, I think, with situations where there's a name that's causing confusion or something like that. And that code is referenced in that memo if anyone wants to look at. And if that's the direction that the council wants to go, then you could have criteria, whether it's, you know, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can do it by a petition or whatever, something to show support for a particular case, stretch of street, having a historical or memorial or commemorative, unofficial designation. But I mean, that is a big policy point. And you can absolutely say, we're not going to do official, you don't renaming, you don't have to do, say we're not going to do it. We're only going to do the warrant. And so if that's the direction that council wants to go, we'll go. And if
That
you're not
looks like
sure
consensus.
tonight, and you want to hear from the public, obviously, we got to hear from them, right? That's the
Yes.
right way to make policy. So I'm not going to, I can draft it both ways and just leave it as here's some options.
Okay. Sounds.
Do you need to, if we have a consensus though, of kind of what we're looking for?
Well, we still,
When do you have to
I mean,
have
what
a
if-
comment before we vote?
yeah, oh,
Don't we have
definitely.
to, don't we have to take, okay, but we would have to choose. So we'll be accepting comment, but
Yeah, so I mean, so this is
We
a
choose
new
among
thing.
them.
This is council drafting a policy, so you can do this however you want. You could have, you could set aside time next week and say, hey, we're considering a policy. We're interested in public comment on what you'd like to see in the city's street naming or street renaming policy. And it could just, or you could do it in a few weeks. I could do a presentation so people know, or we could come back with a couple of policies and you could decide.
I like that idea better.
Okay.
Because we've already established parameters and you're aware. I think then getting feedback, it's like
Sure. And
asking
you
for a
get-
draft of something
Right,
before
there's
you
no
give
time.
feedback. Yeah.
It's not like we had, this is, oh, and you have to make a decision tonight or we lose $1 million or
wait,
something like that.
wait a minute, something that's not high pressured on deadline?
Right. So, if we can put something together and then if you get public feedback and it seems like it's not hitting the mark, then we can go back to the drawing board and change it. And so.
I like that idea.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Everybody
It's
else?
choices,
Yeah.
but they're informed choices.
So yes, I agree with your proposal and your strategy, but we do have a name, we do have a request. So I think you probably need to go back to the requester and give them some feedback on what the plan is.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
That's a great
the
idea.
request is to Larry Robertson Boulevard or whatever.
So administration, I
So-
think, would do that.
I think
Ann's already been in touch
Yeah.
with them.
You have, okay, all right,
Yeah.
fabulous.
Anna, did you have something?
Yeah, just a really quick thing because most of these comparables to which Kylie is referring are talking about property owners. I think if you're really thinking about the most vulnerable, we should just go to the durable residents.
Residents.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's it.
So as far as for the petition, you want it to be the person who's
Living there.
living there?
Oh, I think it would have to be then both.
Oh,
Because
yeah, if I
when
was a
you've got
property
renter that's
owner, I
making
would
a
want to be
decision
in.
For a property owner who actually might have to change the mortgage, may have
Yeah.
to, so I think
That's
it's a
true.
vote.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Residents and property
Yeah.
owners.
And business, because that wouldn't
Well,
wouldn't
businesses
cover
could be
businesses.
renting too.
Yeah.
So it could be the business would then have to change their stationery and advertising. The owner of the building might
not care.
not care.
Or be the proponent.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your feedback. I think we have a lot to.
Thank you.
Yes, we do.
Okay, thanks for bringing that to us. So we're gonna take a 15-minute break.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We'll come back at 6:45 PM.
All right. We need to nap or something.
You got it?
So.
Good this time.
Thanks.
I call back to order the May, what day is it? 27th, 2026 council study session to order. And next, we'll be doing a review of the complete council rules and procedures and a draft council member role addendum. So before we start our discussion, I hope everybody had a chance to review them. The sections receiving the most significant updates are remote attendance, Rule 1, Item 7. Oral participation in meetings, Rule 9, Item 2. Addition to the committee section, Rule 13. Okay, so do you want to go over every rule verbatim or just the ones with significant changes?
Every rule
Yes.
verbatim,
Read
yes.
them out loud.
Okay, rule.
I was hoping that was a joke.
I mean, I have some questions, but I would like to go chronologically with the rest.
Okay. So in number 7, remote attendance. Council members may participate remotely in study session meetings in accordance with state law and these rules and procedures. Remote participation should support effective council operations, public accessibility, and full participation in council business. But because regular council meetings involve formal legislative action, public hearings, ceremonial functions, and official voting of the council, remote participation will generally not be permitted for regular council meetings except as otherwise required by law. Part of the reason that I asked for this to be discussed is when you're participating remotely at a council meeting, on the gigantic screen that is in front of everybody comes your gigantic head and whatever your background is. And as one person or many have put it, it's kind of like talking to Oz. And I think most of us, if we can't attend a meeting, it's because we're out of town. And if you're out of town going east, the time is wrong anyway with a 3-hour time change. Now, if you're going west, yes, you
Not
could be
great
able
either.
to. Yeah,
Either way, it's not great.
no, it's not great.
I definitely believe that, it's okay to take time to do the things you need to do.
Mhm.
I did think that this, I do wonder, like if we needed to make sure we had a consensus
Quorum.
or quorum or things like that. So I felt it could have been, the language could have been a little softer, or it could be approved by the president or something like that.
Mhm.
And that's something I've actually thought for a while when we came out of sort of, when we were
COVID.
100% COVID,
Right.
100% Zoom meetings, obviously for like a year. So, and then of course that could happen again. And that sort of, does this rule hold if we went back into another?
Well, it does say will generally
Okay.
not be permitted.
Yeah.
Well, does this align with state law, the new wording?
To my understanding, yes, we had it reviewed by,
I would love to, I don't know which RCW is referencing.
It's not referenced.
Okay, is it policy, just protocol of like state legislature?
This isn't the BMC or anything
Yeah.
too. It's
Right.
just-
Different
Well, I'm
city
saying,
councils have different rules.
sure, but I'm saying in accordance with state law, what's, you know what I
Required
mean?
by
Like, that's
law.
why I'm asking specifically, if those words are gonna be in there, they shouldn't be performatory, there should be a reference to an RCW.
When I was reading that, I was thinking it was about like if there was a declared emergency or something, that's what on my mind was.
Okay.
But I can look up,
But that could also change, just like we change.
so what state law?
So like, I don't know, if it's in there, we should know what state law and what the purpose of those words are. And so to understand, like, we were thinking about a shutdown or something like that.
something like
I think that wording could be improved if there's not a real direct reason why. That's all. there's times where I think what COVID has taught us is that there's times where remote participation is appreciated and valuable. And so what I don't want to, like, if one of us has a communicative disease, but we're fully functional, we should still be fully functioning in a meeting. And what remote attendance provides is that opportunity for us to do that.
Well, maybe then your camera has to be shut off. It's really distracting.
I'm down with that because if I'm sick and I want to participate in a meeting, I don't want y'all seeing my nose like red and puffy anyway.
It is
So
a distraction.
I
Yeah.
don't like to be on camera because of that reason. You can see my pores all the way at the back of the room.
Yeah.
I came across something once, again, this was back in the day, that was, it might have been through the Jurassic Park people. So maybe it was just a suggestion, but it was something that, like, if you're an official and you're in a Zoom, your camera should be on,
Okay.
your credentials should be properly listed and things like that too.
And but like,
Kylie, do
I'm
you know,
looking at
is
Ann
that a
taking
suggestion
notes.
or is that a?
she was looking something up for me, so I bet she didn't hear.
I heard some of it. I'm sorry. can you
Oh,
repeat?
I came across something once, but it might have been through like the Jurassic Parliament. People that said, like, in a meeting, in a official meeting and stuff, your camera should be on the whole time, that kind of stuff.
It is
Like,
generally, I've noticed, like for webinars and whatnot,
Yeah.
like considered, and like the court rules
Yeah.
often require that you have one. But I think the point's well taken, that it's also distracting. This is a giant floating head in the room. It is really big. And
Yeah.
it's right above me, looking over
And
my
like
shoulder.
sometimes
It's jiggling and yeah. And the sound quality is not good.
in general, hybrid meetings are hard.
I mean, and on that
Yes.
note, I mean, that leaves open the opportunity to just phone in as well, which might be a better hearing opportunity. I don't know. But I haven't done the phone in.
What do you mean by phoning in versus zooming in?
She's always fun.
It is, I'm phoning it in right now. No, I'm not. No, there's a phone in option as opposed to clicking on the Zoom app.
Where you like call.
Oh, okay.
You call a telephone number
I've had to
and
do that before.
if your Wi-Fi goes out, then you call in on the call-in code and it puts you through to just the audio.
Okay.
But I mean, as long, because I guess I still want folks to be able to participate in work. Other agencies allow remote work if somebody is sick and, as opposed to vacations. I mean, I can understand the difference I mean, even if it's business, I mean, I don't know.
Rick, do you have a comment?
I think that there's enough council members that if you can't be present in person, that should be the default. If there is a particular need for a quorum for something important happening, then maybe we allow a dialogue. But generally, what I've seen, attendance has been pretty good. We've never. So I hate the Zoom, whether it's on a big screen or whether it's right here. It's very distracting. It's hard to get attention. So my first preference would be in person, unless there's a significant circumstance that requires something else.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at too. Like, we should be in person, and I'm okay if it's just said something like, or with an exception granted by the chair or the president. Yeah.
Well,
The
it's a
study
real-
session might be a little different, but. for
Yeah,
the-
study session, I mean, it's not, there's not 50 people in the room watching this giant
And you could
floating
also
head.
just choose just to listen in and be there.
Yes.
And not even opt to raise your hand or anything.
Yes.
There's no votes to be taken.
I
Right.
get what you're saying about the floating head. I almost think it's more distracting to be remote during study session because it is harder to hear and harder to be part of a full participation, be in full participation with the meeting. But I mean, I don't want to get rid of that, but I'm just saying, like, if your only reason is because you don't like the aesthetics of something, that's kind of like not the greatest.
It's not the aesthetics, it's the distraction.
Sure, it's an aesthetic that is distracting. Okay, but I understand where you're coming from, and I definitely, if I was sick and wanted to attend a council meeting. And we do, I think another council president may come along, another council representative, set of representatives are gonna come along, but this is the way of the future is through more electronic and remote participation. I'm watching the youth and I know we may not agree with it, but that's just the way of the future. We gotta get used to Zoom and allow all kinds of participation.
We can hold out long enough till the pendulum swings.
I work from home, so I can actually deal with it. But if you are at work, you are working. So if you are sick and then like I'm 100% home-based, I don't have an office. So if you are unable to perform the duties of the job and you take a sick day, then you need to take that sick day. That is important to you. The other thing with working while not feeling good when you're at home, because it's very easy to be home while you're not feeling good, is there are policies in place for that of like to draw those lines between like you're not feeling good, take that time and rest for yourself. You cannot be at work if you're on cold medicine, cough medicine, all of that stuff. And so they really make those lines very apparent with that of if you are able to be at work, then you're at work. And if you are not, for whatever the reasons are, then you're just not. And it's like, yes, please. And that's the thing. I don't see anything on here that's like, and if you miss 4, we throw the whipped cream pie at you. And it's like, what, right? So it's like, there is no penalty for the fact of like, even if you're sick for a long time, or they're saying, yes, you miss out on those meetings and those decisions and all of that, but there isn't a direct penalty for taking care of yourself during that.
Well, there really can't be a
Yeah.
penalty because we don't have to come to any meetings. Unfortunately, there's no direct.
We do actually, if we miss, yep, I'm sorry, Dennis.
No, go ahead. Lana, you can finish.
According to, I believe, the charter, as approved by the voters of the city of Bremerton, any counselor who misses, who is absent from the city, for example, or can't prove
I
it.
know the Mike Simpson.
Well, that's over
Yeah.
30 days.
But it has to be approval by the full council.
Yeah.
So we do have to be here.
We're talking about absences from meetings.
Yeah.
So
Anyhow, when it's my turn, I have something.
You know, I've looked at this and thought a lot about all this, as someone who 4 times a year takes a vacation on that 4th or 5th Wednesday. And often you'll see if it's in the council's interest or in order to conduct council business. And you can look at it 2 ways. Would it benefit the council to have that person's participation in the decision making? And if we feel fine, one person's gone for that major decision, that, you know, then that's fine. I want to make it really clear from my point of view, with the absentee policy that we have, which is really fairly loose. You know, we can not be gone from the city for more than 30 days. That's about it in our charter. I'm fine with missing those meetings, and catching up or listening in, you know, not appearing on screen, all of that. So I think, but this always should be a policy that benefits the council and the city's business, the work of the council, not me as an individual council member or anybody else as an individual council member. So I'm good with this. The only thing that I will say is kind of to piggyback on what Jennifer was bringing up, and I think that Rick has even brought this up too, is we must remain relevant and be attractive to younger people who are interested in running for office. And I probably know several who would find out that there's no remote option and they would decide not to be in office. So that's something that we should keep in mind. We do want to attract younger people, but I'm fully okay with all
And one
that.
thing we have to keep in mind too, How long ago was it that we changed council rules? Not even 2 years ago. So it's not like it's static, you know? So these rules can be changed. I mean, if younger people run for my position and Denise, when we retire next year, they might think differently, you know?
Hi.
Pardon?
No, I have something to say.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Anna.
I haven't been in on the first round, but Kylie.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like a lot of people are saying that you like the old version. If you scroll up, it shows what was marked through. I'm just hearing what people are saying. You know, this is just like
The old version prior to.
the remote appearance. Version 7 that strike through on page 163.
I downloaded this.
Yeah.
Fire, flutter, earthquake, I'm not calling in.
So
I got bigger problems.
I mean, I do want to honor what,
if anybody wants to look at this, here's a paper copy that shows the strike.
So I had a comment.
Sure.
Great. So
Thank you, Anna.
one of the things that we could do is to look at technology and talk to BCAT, talk to Colleen Michaud, talk to Dave Sorensen and say, can you make our big giant heads smaller?
did you already do that?
No, I did not.
Oh,
We didn't, but we haven't had a chance to.
okay.
Because I think that if you're well enough to participate, even if you are a phlegm spewing monster, as I was, that you should at least make a single appearance, you know, and that for the rest of the time, I agree with Michael and I agree with the court rules. I think that being visible in not just council meetings, but in committee meetings is really important. If we're not seeing each other's faces, we're missing cues that humans rely on.
I'm going to push back on the committee meetings because I think something that has come out of the committee meetings and going remote is that more department heads have been able to be at their desks and accessible to their materials, and it doesn't pull them away from their responsibilities to the city. So the department heads have enjoyed the remote option. So I do get why it's good to be in person for those, and also
I'm not trying to dictate to the department heads. Just us.
okay. I appreciate what you said about having rules. For instance, if you're on cold medication, if you're on my migraine medication, you can't drive a bus. You know, so maybe don't have the option. I'm not going to be driving a school bus anytime soon, but I mean, I appreciated your point to that.
I think the other thing too is that work-life balance thing of the next generation is saying it's okay to take sick days. It's not the like, and if you're not, you shouldn't be vilified for it. You're sick, take care of yourself. And so that's where it's like, no, I can make it. We'll make all these, like, we'll take away the barriers. And you're like, my goodness, it's okay. So I think that's just like the essence of it is.
Why am I like resisting this very logical point that you're making? Because I think it might have to do with my overworking, workaholic, toxic.
Yeah, and that was.
Yeah.
So the remote attendance is not, it's about council meetings and study sessions at this time. So just want to make that. So how do you want to handle it? I understand what I'm hearing is that if the state law is being called out, that we should call out what the RCW is.
Yeah, I have it for you. It's a time and place. RCW 42.30.070 called out into record.
Okay, what other modifications or do you just want to go back to what the rule was?
I would still be.
I mean, if there's an earthquake, I am not calling.
We're not you.
I-
You need to vote me to call
The
us.
state law is actually sort of paraphrased in the original section.
Yeah.
'Cause
For the benefit of the city of Bremerton, not.
It talks about the agency and the earthquake and all of that stuff. So I think that whenever it was drafted the last time, it was in reference, because I'm looking at it, it was the state law was the 2022.
So it looks like we.
I mean, Jane, you do know you are mayor pro tem. If something happens in an emergency. So
That's on you.
that's on you.
Yeah.
If an earthquake happens and it swallows,
But we're probably not gonna
The
have
mayor
a
up.
council meeting while that's
Hopefully it won't
taking
blow
place.
up all
So.
of District 4.
I don't do well in emergencies. So no.
Well, it's a
doubt
good
that.
thing
good
you-
thing
let's
you're
make a
married.
note.
You're the
I
emergency
do
responder.
not do well.
I also like the thing that we've stopped doing, I'm totally lost, the old Rule 8A, where it's like anytime a counselor is absent, that the council president says they're attending remotely and here's why.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Yep.
I'm not,
I don't think that's appropriate.
I don't
Yeah,
think
like,
that's
oh,
appropriate
they're
at all.
The reasons for such attendance.
Christie has a big pimp.
Yeah.
Why are they
She ain't
attending
feeling it
remotely?
today.
One time when I attended, I had my camera off remotely because I had a big old rash on my face.
I
Okay, I think we're all happy that that's no longer there, so.
Fine, just not fine.
But wait, what?
Okay.
Where are we
The
at?
disclosure of the reason why.
Oh, yeah, we should not say that.
Sure.
I like the spirit of this. I'd be okay if we all just said, let's all try to be here in person and make Zoom council meetings, business meetings a rarity. And
Safe, legal, and rare.
that's one of my favorite. Anyways, I just wanted to say that. That's where I'm at. I like the direction. I like that we sort of established this and just, you put some thought into it. Do I really need to be there? Is it performative that I'm going? Is it really an issue that needs my vote, needs my input? Am I gonna,
Do I have a headache and
Of
I'm gonna
course, with
yell
all
at
of us,
everybody?
it'll be, well, of course.
okay. So,
But no, point taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, are we moving on from that?
Yeah, I think we can move on. So, Rule 9, Item 2, this is gonna be. Okay.
Which is mine. Oh, rule 5.
Rule 5.
No,
No,
I was just saying, I want to talk about Rule 5 later. I mean, if it's not on
It's a little bit on here.
it's minor, but
What, the items of business, just as a whole?
Well, that comes before 9. Did you want
Oh, I thought we were in
the
Rule 5,
president's
number 9.
taking us through.
to? Okay.
I'm taking you through this and then we'll go back to any other
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
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 Are we just going chronologically with the red?
We're going through impact.
I'm going through the ones that had the most changes.
Okay.
And then we can go back so that way, if there's rules that don't have any redlining, but you want to change them, now's your time to talk.
I'm so excited to bring back the,
Okay, limited oral comment. There are 2 opportunities to provide oral feedback at a regular city council meeting. There's actually more than 2, because if you have
Public hearing.
people can talk on items that are on the consent agenda. There's a public hearing, general business, and then community comment. So there's actually 4, not 2. right?
It could be 6, depending on how many items we have on.
Yeah, we could have 3 public hearings.
How about there are various opportunities to provide oral feedback?
There are many,
Many, various, whatever.
Various.
Several.
There's the-
Yeah, I think,
several.
I think it was in reference to the different types of community comment versus public comment on agenda items. So we'll think of a way to.
Okay.
Can we go back to Rule 9, number 1, agenda?
Yeah.
The second sentence of that paragraph states that council members can include not just resolutions and ordinances as laid out in Rule 4, but also matters requested by any council member.
Hold on, let me read this.
What's the matter?
Transportation benefit district is a matter. The transport, no,
What's the matter?
Yeah, you
Sorry.
forgot to add the U at the end. What's that?
matter you?
You've never,
What's the matter you?
Okay.
You're from New York, you could be.
You know, that
familiar
break
with
was
that.
too long.
Yeah, maybe.
I have blocked your station too.
Okay. So what is it that you
Here,
object to?
I'm not objecting to it. I'm just saying that it's internally inconsistent. Because the old Rule 4, which, I truly loved, permitted any counselor to put forward a matter for discussion, which council could ask for more information on, decide to pursue, or say, no, we don't want to discuss. Isn't that in here?
But that's not rule.
Are we in Rule 9?
Yeah, we
Rule
are.
nine.
It
But
sounds like
here,
you're saying a rule 4 and a 9 aren't.
Rule
done.
9
Oh, I
references
see.
Rule
Just-
4.
I see what
see.
you're saying.
I'm perfectly happy for counselors to be able to bring up a matter, as all of you well know.
Strike
I
it.
think it's still,
Well, where else does it, in agenda control, does it say that, like, I can propose, hey, let's talk
no,
about
no, no,
that?
no, it's saying that the heading under 9 miscellaneous is the agenda, but agenda
Right.
also has its own section under Rule 4,
Right,
and that's the section you don't like.
and there's nothing I don't like. I like the idea that matters requested by any counselor.
No, you like the Rule 9, how you're reading it, but the agenda is still determined by the Rule 4. I'm just reading it that way.
So Rick, if you have it
I mean, we can.
on
make
your
it-
screen, can I have that paper one back, please?
All right, where are we?
Rule 9, Section 1, agenda, sentence 2.
But the agenda would be based on like what we talked about at the previous meeting. So it wouldn't be on the agenda a new matter, right? A new matter would be raised at the meeting before.
Right, but there's no provision in Rule 4 for a matter to be considered, only
Matterless.
regulations and ordinances. Only resolutions and ordinances.
Are you proposing that we make it consistent, change it to requested by council members instead of by any? Then it's more generic.
I don't see, I mean, everything you do is a legislative act, well, the legislative body, so.
And
Rule 4 says council initiated legislation.
It wouldn't be council initiated legislation to discuss the transportation
Well,
benefit district.
Yeah, you're not gonna do any changes to the
but also,
PPD without
the
legislation.
lead of this paragraph says by direction of council president. I think the other stuff is just a little bit of formality. Like, it's not gonna be it's not gonna be that was, submitted by the, owner of the 7-Eleven, right? It's gonna be from council,
I think, I mean, unless
What
we're
does it
gonna
matter?
reopen how items get added to the agenda, I don't think it is internally inconsistent.
Okay, well, I will respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm also noting that I did not go to law school, nor have I practiced law and the splitting of words. for
Put it on TV.
Literally.
Right.
Okay. Let's go back to the Rule 2, item 2 under Rule 9.
Number 9.
So there are several opportunities to provide oral feedback at a regular.
Mhm.
So more than
Change that to
A and B.
several.
Yeah, I think it's actually would be better. There are 2 types of
Or two.
oral feedback at regular council meetings, because
But there's more.
it's not it's not referring to opportunities to speak. If you look below, it's referring to 2 different types of, like, comments on agenda items where your comments limited to an agenda item. And then B is community comment where it's other, something about city business.
Y'all are gonna think I might be missing words, so that's okay. I'm okay with it, but not everybody that comes to council meeting will provide oral comment through language. So let's say one day we have somebody who speaks my language, which I'm sure
Mhm.
has happened. I mean, is it still called oral feedback at the state level? I just want to make sure, like, do you smell what I'm cooking
I
on
think
this
we would
one?
need like an AS.
How about unwritten comment?
We can still keep it as oral, and maybe I'm just being too silly with the words, but I just want to make sure we're being inclusive.
Okay, we can look
What
at that.
about, there are two types of oral feedback?
She doesn't.
She's talking about the word
It's-
oral.
I know.
It's okay. It's not,
I think that's too. I mean,
Well,
if that comes up, we can deal with
We
it.
don't provide ASL interpreters, so
We can.
we should.
it's a whole nother,
No, we have the access.
yeah.
We have that.
But I'm just saying, I think that a reasonable accommodation is that we also accept written
No, we will provide an ASL interpreter if someone makes that request.
in
It's
advance,
required.
Yep.
right, in advance, though.
Right, that's what it says on our agenda, that
Right, like they can't show up and
Right.
expect that all the different careers be there, but if
we
somebody,
do actually have that availability.
thank you for letting me know. about
Yeah, we have, language line, we subscribe to it, we have a policy around it, and we can have real time. It's really fabulous.
For
that we're able
ASL
to-
as well.
On Zoom,
For ASL.
On
it's
Zoom,
re-
would they be a big floating head?
No, it's, I think we use an iPad.
Okay, perfect. I love it.
We worked that one.
I'm
out.
not
So-
too worried about the.
I can look at whether there's more inclusive language that we can use to include
Thank
people
you.
who, in the deaf community might not be providing.
I don't know if the state does the
Verbal.
same thing, but they may have another language, alternative to oral. that-
Yeah, I'll make a note, to take a look at the best language
So-
for that.
I was just thinking on that number 2, what if it just said there are opportunities to provide oral feedback at a regular council meeting? Then it says
Or
public.
just feedback. Why don't we just say feedback?
Well, then we'd have to merge the
Because-
language around written, I suppose.
Plus, so much of it is not feedback.
Wait a minute, written is under the same paragraph. So it should just say
Feedback.
limited comment.
So one thing I wanna bring up to you
Thank
was in my script last week, it did say that during community comments that people were not allowed to discuss things that had already been discussed on the agenda.
Oh.
And they're correct. It's a free speech thing, and I'm not going to
Sure.
tell people that they cannot talk
I was
about
curious about that too, but now that we put it at the end of the meeting instead of the beginning, there's no. I mean, so if it had been at the beginning of the meeting and they wanted to talk about an agenda item, it's still free speech.
No, I mean, we can, it's a limited public forum, so the council can put, restrictions, just like any opportunity. I mean, if the council wanted to say you can only make comments on agenda items, you could do that, and you could have that at the beginning of the meeting, and it could be for all of them. Some cities do that. But if you're going to do it at the end, I think that, how I had understood it, is it's certainly fair game for someone at that point to, and
Okay.
under the provisos of it being city business, discuss, make a comment on the business that just was taken,
Right.
A post-vote commentary is certainly still city business. And so I saw that as being, it's still within the purview of city business. I understand we said it as like, not on the agenda, as meaning like, you're gonna get a chance to talk about agenda items earlier in the meeting.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so, but not that it was exclusive, that it could include a comment on those agenda items
Okay.
also. Because obviously at that point, the action's been taken. So,
So what I'm saying, if it was at the beginning, then we could restrict, but now that it's at the end, there's no point restricting.
well, you can restrict it to say things like to city business or to,
But the thing is, 10 people could have gotten up and said, we like the vote you took. So people, they get to say what they want to say.
I think, I guess yes, of course they get to say what they gotta say, but what I'm saying is the changing of the order changed the ability
right.
to cut
So
them
whenever
off.
we did public recognition at the beginning and people would say, I'm gonna start talking, and they would start talking about an agenda item, we would usually cut them off and say, we're gonna take comments on that agenda item later in the meeting. Yeah,
So now that it's at the end, now they have the opportunity to talk about an agenda item. So there's, whereas in the beginning, there was some restriction available.
True.
Okay, just noting that. But I'm fine with whatever. If it's understood that they can talk about agenda items at the end now.
Does anybody have any other comments, concerns about the changes that have been made?
Are we still in 9? Or
Yeah.
anywhere?
9-2.
9.
It's not 5. I'm super excited. Like, you looking at 5 so bad. This is exciting.
It's not.
Rule 9,
Not that exciting.
Have you met me?
item 2. Any other comments?
Are we gonna do
concerns?
A, B, C? Are we gonna say provide feedback rather than oral and then include the written as a C? Tell me, is that kind of how we're formatting it now? Is that what you
I think we
guys?
can reformat it in a different way. And Dr. Briggs just actually gave me some suggestion on the language that we welcome feedback in a variety of accessible and culturally responsive.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Dr.
Beautiful.
I'll put that on a pillow.
I really do.
So then we're still once these rules have become official, which it sounds like we need a couple little modifications first, then we are going to put sign-up sheets in the back, but people don't have to sign up to talk. But people who did sign up, I would call their name. But it might be somebody who's sitting way in the back and they're like, not ready to talk yet. So we could have a sign-up sheet. I don't think it's
I'm pretty sure if they signed up, they're gonna be ready to talk when you call on them.
probably,
I'm just.
but what I'm
Ready.
saying is it necessary that we have a sign-up sheet? I don't know.
The
what
thing I
you
would
guys
just
feel.
say that I think would be helpful is that we not have the lineup. I see that cause, like from my vantage point, I know that you are all focused on the speakers and stuff, but I see like the lineup sometimes, just causing some confusion, like.
Yeah.
Like.
It happened last week.
It happened last
Yeah.
week. And I think the sign up would be say, hey, we're going to this. You could please sign up, we'll call your name and just wait in your seat until we call the next person.
We never really gotten the lineup to work. It was
Right.
something that I would really try to do so that, to avoid that, like, you know, that
Yes.
sort of gopher thing, or, you know, or
Yes.
whack-a-mole where people try to,
Well, yeah, and so there's some
Get up
people,
and-
sometimes someone will stand up in the back and they'll be making their way and then another person.
jumps up in
up
front.
Yeah.
front, and then they're kind of stuck in, it's like, it reminds me of the the airplane bathroom thing.
Yeah.
Like someone's trying to get there.
By the time you
and then
get there.
someone else comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone's left queuing up and doesn't really know what to understand. So I think that the sign up helps with maybe keeping that from happening, because it is kind of awkward, because it looks, where do you tell someone to sit down and tell someone else to go up?
The only thing
Well,
that-
and that's my point. What happens when somebody's talking and somebody who's in agreement or disagreement with them is holding up a sign behind them?
Right.
No
I mean, I can't be the hall monitor saying, put your sign away, because that is free speech.
Well, signs can be regulated, it can be, if they're distracting, and certainly sometimes that could be the case, or if they're blocking the view of somebody, so it has to be a content neutral restriction. Some places have like a size restriction, like you can't have, a giant sign that then would block, the view of everyone to see them meeting. And so.
We could have a designated spot where anybody with
Yeah.
signs.
We'll see. But I think just having, I think there's actually a safety issue in having people line up right there. If people need to.
Like only one person standing at a time.
No, just have people come up when it's time to speak.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like instead of the lineup, to make it as part of the rules, to have only one person standing at a time is helpful.
Oh, the person at the podium.
Person at the podium should be the only person standing waiting. That doesn't really.
I mean, we could have that rule. So think back a few meetings and you tell me how that would be.
Here's the deal. I don't think that everybody is unreasonable. I think that rules have been followed for the most part. I think there's an effort to follow the rules that we've been given. And also to push the things that we don't have rules for.
Christie?
With the sign up sheet, since it's not a requirement to give your name, do we need to put something on there that's like, you could put anonymous, like anonymous one, and you would call it anonymous one, whoever that is, but I know
We'll
that.
work on the.
Yeah,
form,
okay.
make sure it complies with it.
Because I know you don't have to name yourself. So I don't know if that needs to be stated, because it kind of sounds like you do in it.
In a sign-up sheet,
Yeah, where
Mhm.
I think it would be helpful if it was on there to just say like, you're not comfortable giving your name, you can give anonymous.
Anna,
I feel like a Texas tonight. Um,
you feel like a what?
instead of a tech bro, I feel
Oh.
like a Texas.
Okay.
You said Texas.
That's what I thought.
Highly up. Yeehaw. You can do online sign up for almost anything. And if we had online sign up, then people could be like signing up. And they could be called in the order that their names.
That would work if we could have like an iPad at the back of the room or something.
That's like RSVPs for a party. They don't show up.
Right.
You know, sometimes there's gonna be, oh yeah, I'm gonna, and then.
Because people often will be like sitting in the audience. I know RSVPs are like, a vanished custom, like thank you notes. But people will come in a bit late and they won't realize there's a sign-in sheet.
Oh, well, I think what we had discussed previously, that if they didn't sign up after the people signed up, then I could say, raise your hand if you.
Yeah.
Yeah, raise your hand and then we'll just.
I have a requirement. It's just,
It's so you don't have to wait till midnight to talk.
I have I have a logistical question about our council chambers. I would love when it's packed. Has every seat always been, has there been a time where every seat was full?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, the anti-camping.
Yeah. So how, to me, it feels, I don't know, maybe it's better to have people spread apart, but I guess.
So if there was every seat taken or a whole lot of seats taken, and there was something on the agenda or something that had happened recently that I knew was gonna produce a lot of comments, I can make a call and say, okay, we're not gonna have time for everybody.
Right.
So I'm gonna just take the temperature of the room, who's for this, who's against this. Because we have 90 seconds, but 90 seconds isn't guaranteed if there's 150
Exactly.
people in the room.
I think I was just kind of thinking about the amount of chairs that are in that room on a daily basis and if it was necessary to have so many. And I know that seems silly to think about. But I'm just thinking about.
Because we're not the only meeting there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who
Okay.
use it.
No, you're right.
Mhm.
And I've never been to any of those meetings and had it full either, but you're right. Okay. I'm just thinking out loud, but, I like what you're saying about the temperature of the room. I don't know that would go over well, but it's up to you if that happens or not.
Well, sometimes you can also at that point, make arrangements to have a special meeting that's just for public comment.
Mhm.
Like maybe cancel a study session or do something so that everyone, just so that, if everyone has a chance to.
But Eric did that on numerous occasions, and then he'd say, well, you don't get 3 minutes, you get 1
Oh, I
minute,
did that too.
or you get 45 seconds, or
Yeah.
whatever. Yay, nay.
Then I had a council person talk over. When I tried to come out.
Yes, Rick.
I'm a strong proponent in the sign-up sheet. I think it brings order to the meeting. Doesn't preclude someone from, after those that signed up have had their opportunity to speak, to say, now you say, I'm now open to the floor to those who did not sign the sign-up sheet or something like that. But out of courtesy to the people that have something to say, took the time to put their name on this sheet, they get to go first. And that brings much better order to the end of the meetings, as far as I'm concerned. And
I like it too.
right now,
We're all in agreement on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't wanna take
how
away
you
his
handle I thought, no, yeah, Denise said something that prompted my memory. I want to say something. You still have that opportunity.
Would you consider something about one person at a time standing? So as not to be a distraction or one person at a time for orders.
I think we can have that for the rules, but it's kind of like, last week when people were talking and I was getting several council members calling a point of order on me saying, oh, that was already on the agenda, they can't talk about it. It's,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? Arrest them if there's two people standing? Or somebody standing with somebody? I mean, you can't do that. I mean, when the woman was running around yelling at us and, coming up to each of us, I think that's really an appropriate time for us to call security,
Can we do that?
When did that happen? She was coming up to us at the dais?
Yes,
That was
yes.
last year,
She came up to each of us individually.
demanding our business cards.
Mhm.
I remember that now. And then I went and talked with her. Yeah,
So,
then I gave her a business card.
Can we call security?
they're cruising around City Hall all the time. They've made it
Or
pretty
another
clear to us.
option, instead of security, is we can call a recess.
Yes,
And if she continues to follow, that would be a security call.
We dial our focus back in.
yeah, on the rules.
I mean, this is all valid
was-
stuff, but we
Mhm.
Yeah.
All
still
about,
have a 30-minute executive session.
Yeah.
Yep,
And this is the lightest thing that we work on that's just supposed to help us move things forward. And if something's not really broken.
okay.
it was just an idea, one
I
person at
know,
a time.
I think it's hard to enforce. To be-
Okay, so let's go to the addition of committees section, Rule 13.
Go back to standard.
LTAC has a voting member?
Yep. That would be whoever is the chair.
This is like a.
That was
brand-
my premise. I
New
certainly
to
voted.
me. I
Well-
did not know it was a voting member.
Yep.
Was when I was on.
That's great.
I think people's understanding is, it's confusing.
Sometimes, when we keep changing who's on LTAC, some of the community committee members are trying to tell you as the chair what the rules are. So
That's
they,
not where I was-
it seemed kind of not cohesive to me, so I went to Brett. And he reviewed all the state law for me and made it really clear
Excellent.
what the rules were.
Great.
All right, where is, I can't find
So paragraph
13. So not all the standing committees are 3 voting
Rule
members
13.
because,
Rule 13, standing committee.
so audit just has 2, correct?
Well, 2 council members.
2 council members
and 2
and,
citizens.
right,
So
Voting
different.
members.
so that would be 4 voting members then.
What is voting members?
Has Public Works Committee ever taken a vote?
Oh, we don't know.
No.
Committees don't vote except for,
Yeah, you vote to approve your.
minutes. Yeah, that's
You-
very
you-
true.
You you kind of by consensus agree to move something forward.
Yep,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But we
This
always
is
say in
interesting For LTAC, it says 1 voting member, but should that say? that
this
the
is
voting
only
members
dealing
count?
with the committee or the
with the
council.
council, it's not,
So council members are voting members of that committee.
correct.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Public safety, not safety.
Oh, no.
Mm,
Oh, Rick has his hand up.
Yes, Rick.
spelled out, unless the acronym is spelled out someplace else. So PFIP,
Yeah.
Word it out.
it needs to be spelled out. Same with LTAC. You can put the acronym in parentheses, but unless it's spelled out someplace else
Yeah.
in the document.
Is there a,
No, that's my.
Glossary.
Okay.
Yeah.
There a
We'll fix
glossary?
it.
Spell it out.
Yeah, it is, they are referred to in.
Rule, it's under three,
We
right?
can,
Is it on 3? Okay, if it's elsewhere in the document, then I
We'll see.
stand corrected.
A glossary might be helpful for acronyms, but I'm agnostic to that, as many other things in life.
Okay, so does anybody have any concerns about section 2 of Rule 13?
Great. I feel like that's what we're doing.
I really like the addition of that second paragraph.
Me too. I think going blind into committee meetings
Discussion, yeah.
is really difficult.
What's
know-
adequate time?
Pardon?
What is adequate time to review?
So if you ask that.
Well, I think you should have it at least 2 business days before your committee. I mean,
I
do
think
you?
we should put that in there.
Okay.
Well, or the committee can set that with their staff person.
So do you want to talk about?
I'm not as hot on getting things at the last minute. A committee meeting. I don't.
So one of the things that we've been talking about, and this is just, I don't know, kind of the history lesson of this, if you've noticed, you have city staff members staffing your council committees. And I know for public safety, it used to be a rotating assignment. It would rotate between police and fire and legal and parks, because parks used to be there. And I was talking to Ann about whether it makes sense for the legislative office to take over the agenda and the staffing for those 3 council committees, because they are council committees, because it becomes this thing of like, for example, John does the agenda for that, and he's worked with different chairs, and people like different things different ways, and how he does that. And it might make it more streamlined and consistent if the council's office staff those instead of who, I guess.
yeah, most specifically, I think public safety and then EFIT has been, we noticed that your materials weren't getting posted. There wasn't a web page for the committee. So we've been working to make all those web pages consistent and make sure all the materials are posted. Hillary does a fantastic.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
Public
public
Works.
works, don't mess with
Yeah,
public
do not
works.
touch her.
Working great, yeah. And that's
But
why
one
Yeah, and
thing
if
she
it-
might not
caveat that it's
Yeah.
the other 2. because
Or maybe
unless
eventually
Hillary
take it-
wants help, but
Yeah.
for those other 2,
Well, I
So-
think the other thing is it gets the council into kind of directing staff, which is also, if this, it can be a little touchy in that. It's like, who is advising this person as to what to do that day? Is it the council members telling them they need to get that packet out, or is it a director or the mayor?
Yeah, I don't.
But we
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
we don't have the information. It's like, I'll give a for instance. If council is being asked at a committee meeting to review and approve a grant application, and they haven't been given,
Right, that's completely understandable that you wouldn't.
Yeah.
With that, but that's what I'm saying is I think then if you are giving Ann direction to say, I don't want this in front of me unless
Right,
I have this much time in advance, and so if they get it to you after this cutoff, then it didn't make the meeting, and it's gotta come a different time.
we
Then-
manage the agendas a little bit like how I manage the agenda with you for
but you're not gonna touch public works, right?
Yeah.
well, but I have an issue with this, though, even though I just said it. Because you don't make policy for individuals. So just because we have an assistant in Public Works that rocks with getting the minutes out the next day, that has that agenda, that, I write to Chance and say, this has come up, can we get it on the agenda? Ma'am, he's with Hillary, it gets on the agenda. That should be the way it works for all the committees. Putting Anne, I see what you're saying. It is putting a lot of responsibility on Anne, and I think that besides Public Works, we'd end up canceling meetings.
All of them.
Because,
There'd be
because
nothing on
you
the
walk
agenda.
into a committee, I walked into a committee meeting yesterday as an alternate and, or whatever day it was. And we had the agenda and that was it. There were no materials. And
Trying to avoid.
so that meeting gets canceled.
Well,
Because
we were
otherwise,
managing it. We're not involved currently with that particular one. And so
yeah,
we would 10 days before.
Okay.
Go to the directors, say what is going to be on your agenda.
Okay.
Bring it to the chair so that we would avoid having a meeting where you didn't get the materials on the Friday before that.
so we have to enforce that and you're okay with
So
that.
you're asking to add this to your workload.
So do we have the authority for Anne to tell the directors, if you don't get this in, we're not gonna
Yeah.
talk about it?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're meeting.
I just
Yeah,
wanna be
the
sure.
council can set the parameters for how you want to meet and what's
Okay.
required.
Yeah,
to-
you know, I mean, John, for
But at
public
the
safety,
same
John
time,
reaches
they
out
don't
to
have to
everyone
meet the
who has agenda items. So the one where it's been probably the most problematic, unfortunately, is the SIP.
Yeah.
And that's a really important one. and
He's
maybe-
new on it. You have, you
And
don't
it
have
has nothing to do.
No, it's
No, it's not Tim.
It's just, you know,
Trying to work on
It
has
wasn't
nothing
really
to
like
do with it.
for me, it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to do this. It was a way that we were kind of talking like, it maybe would work better. because
Yeah.
They would.
There's
see-
already a system in place.
They would see things ahead, and would see
Yeah.
things ahead of time, and it would maybe
You would
help
use the
her
same
better,
protocol.
make
But they
sure,
eventually
come
compare.
to study session and then on
Mhm.
council and to help with the master calendar of moving things along.
Okay, so that's not always gonna work. And I'll give you one good example. The grant that was looked at yesterday was being written yesterday morning. And it was a grant that had a very short window.
Right.
So,
That committee,
pardon?
then it would skip the committee and go right to council.
They're not coming to council, they're just applying for a grant.
Yeah.
They don't have to come to council
It was
until they
one of
accept
those
the grant.
match.
So I
Michael?
think the chair could do it
Okay.
just like you do it with stuff on coming onto this agenda. I mean, there's gonna be exceptions and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just saying that the general flow is like, it's always been a little, and maybe just because I was public safety and it rotated and it was like a duty that
Confused.
pulled in.
So I like where this is going. I'm fine with the way it's written. I don't think we need to get more specific there.
Mhm.
And but I do worry about moving staff duties, but what we could do is sort of a solution. And the other thing I want to say is, especially with public works, public safety, and finance at all, is that we're really doing that to help the departments prepare, you know,
Yeah.
yes, it helps us as well. I will say that I do feel like there's been a shift in the time I've been on council where the committees really felt like we were supporting the departments to now it's a little more, it's just that the shift has been a little more where we're digging in deeper and things like that. So it might have, I think I would say that it might have used to have been, hey, like, there's this grant coming up, this is the nuts and bolts about it. You'll be seeing it in a little bit. I'm like, great, we'll ask some questions. And then we would get the full thing. I don't care, I don't feel strongly on that. But what we could do is staff could just start putting in that sort of 10-day deadline. And then the department heads could still continue to use the support person that they've been using, but to advocate for ourselves, staff could be, hey, you know, could you get us the agenda?
Liaison.
Yeah.
I think part of this came up originally with PFI, because they don't really have a staff person. So Mike had to do all of the
Yeah.
agendas and everything, which I offered to him to be helpful and to make sure when I identified that there wasn't even a page on the website,
Yeah.
PFIP, there was no way to get an easy way for the public to even access the information. It was very old and I was concerned, so I went and said I'd be happy to serve as the staff person for PSIP because there isn't one, unlike the other committees. I mean, John does a fantastic job.
Yeah, he does.
But I know that he is highly connected to other things. I said, you know, I'd be happy
Yeah.
to do the same thing for public safety. We could pilot it for CSIP because I think we have to do something to provide some support on that one.
The thing that I think is John's in a weird spot sometimes is like, is a council member says, I want to talk about a certain item, and I'm like, the police to address this, and John's like,
Yeah.
they don't have it, and he ends up being just in between person between like police leadership and council. And
Yeah.
it's not a role that he, you know.
Not in his job
it's not-
description.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it seems,
But it is an and.
yeah, well, and like, yeah, so we'll figure it out. But I was just letting you guys know that there's some, like history
So-
there and some things that we have been
I
talking.
like everything that's been said and I'm okay with the way it's written to move forward.
It
Thank
was a
you,
big
Michael.
issue That you, like, that in the meeting that we just had yesterday. So we had an agenda, we got the agenda at 8 AM. It didn't have anything with it of the same day. And then the first agenda item was like SS4B, and all of us were like, what is
The
that?
heck is that?
Mike didn't know, nobody knew what this was, and it was a grant that was coming in, and she absolutely did need an answer. There was a PowerPoint, but only she had it, and it had all these numbers, and it was a 3-year thing, and it was like, and in 2026, it's gonna be 10,000 over here with 20,000 from this account, but we get 100,000
But it
from
was
this.
all
and All of
verbal.
us are like, sounds great. Like, it just wasn't anything, so it was, if we would have had like something in the agenda, we could have looked at it, if it would have been on board. There's like all these what ifs that I think it was a good example of, yes, we needed to get it passed, but there were some issues with it that clearly, you know, with a little bit more, I'm trying to think of a nice way, but it's like just setting those expectations and then holding everybody to those same expectations would have been helpful.
And the other.
Yes, I love it. Thank you.
No changes?
Okay, so now it's time for Michael.
Mr. Michael.
What was it again?
It's
Wait,
I
I
forgot.
forgot one.
I-
In the same one, the duties of the committee chair.
You said duty.
I said duty.
You said
Guys,
I-
stop.
super
Okay,
duty.
That's something I would
So
say.
I found out through the audit committee that the duties of the audit committee chair are a lot more than what I knew. And like, I'm doing her time cards. I am now writing a review from 2025 when I wasn't even here.
Yep.
And it's like, well, that's a very different council committee thing. So if I would have actually known what the chair of that particular committee meant, I probably would have been like, I'm not the best fit for this. Because it is, I mean, it's text message, you're approving vacation slips for somebody that I'm up there in the office. I'm like, yeah, vacation slips, woo, because I'm not here. It's a very odd situation in all of it, but those are all duties that take up time. That,
Mike really set you up. I didn't.
good job. Thanks for that.
Getting out of that one.
So, yeah, if that, like, that would also be helpful in this, that like each council committee, the chair may have different responsibilities, that it would be kind of nice to see that. And then if somebody's like, I don't know, saying, you should probably be the chair of the audit committee, with a little smirk. I'm not naming names, but you know.
We're looking at him.
You did
I wasn't on audit last
No,
year
it-
either, though.
It's a lot more that I was like, I signed up to do it, I will do it. However,
Should probably get a better review, though.
mine should be amazing. 2025?
Mine would have been better.
Best year
So-
ever.
Okay,
Yeah, so that would be the only thing in the duties of the chair committee. It's not a one size fits all kind of thing, and that would have been nice going into. And it's the same thing, those ones, like some were in Seattle, not a chair, but like some of those committees are not.
We don't have to go, we're alternates.
Okay.
Seattle one.
I was like, oh, there's things that All right, that was it. Now we can go on to 5. I'm very excited about 5.
5. Starting
Rule
at
5, what?
It's under Rule 5.1, it's Pledge of Allegiance. It's
64 or something.
yeah, I don't.
for special occasions.
So I kind of wish we had struck that
Yeah.
years ago, but, I almost would like you to say, like, optional opening ceremony or something like that, where somebody could come in and do something, but it seems almost passive aggressive that it's like,
But only when it's special.
right, like,
Well, we left it in there to be diplomatic.
we did.
And
Maybe,
because we wanted the public to know that that was an option, but.
And for the
we
Boy
have-
Scouts,
And for the Boy Scouts, that never came.
we had them a couple of
but
times.
we could have the
Yeah.
poet laureate, we could have.
We could have the monks from Bangor come.
Pledge of
It
Allegiance.
shifts at the
Father
museum,
Stephen, the Russian
the
Orthodox.
council.
priest.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that was it.
You are getting into the territory of invocations, talking about all these religious folks.
Yep.
Doing Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep.
So we can have that discussion. It just does not necessarily need to be in there. And the council president can make a choice to put it on the agenda anytime they wants.
This is on a document, though. I can appreciate Michael's
Mhm.
sentiment about the language.
No, I thought I was
And
kind of
then
agree.
weirdly, it's not part of the call to order, it would be its separate thing.
I
You
also,
could use
Am I not
sorry.
agreeing with you?
we've got new council members since that decision was made, you know?
It was
You
unanimous.
know what I mean?
It was
So I have
unanimous.
no,
Get in the
I don't want
game.
to extend this to, but why did was that removed? And perhaps you can tell me
Yeah.
offline,
Oh, sure.
because I'm
It'd be more
not,
colorful.
There's a whole
Yeah,
article.
because I am
about
not,
it.
so I suspect.
Because you were,
The big
were you
thing
president
was-
then?
We did Zoom meetings for a year and didn't do that or any kind of invocation. Now, there were separate reasons that we removed the invocation. And
That makes sense.
I mean, there's,
Well, it was at Counselor Mockler's.
Under the old-
Initiated it.
Under the old Rule 4, a counselor could bring forward any matter.
but then I literally said to the council, okay, if we keep it, who's leading it? And nobody wanted to even lead. Nobody on the council that year wanted to lead it either. So if nobody wants to do it,
And you made the really good point at the time that the military don't
the
stand.
military doesn't.
They don't say it.
Mhm.
Not even at the Navy, they don't do it there? I asked my step parent, not even at the Navy.
Yeah.
Who was, and he just, they were on boats. They
And I
said,
Okay,
Roosevelt Smith made a really moving statement.
Mhm.
He
Yep,
was still alive then.
when there's justice. for
There was a
all.
lot of public comment on that.
Yeah.
and
It was
And there
when I
still
first
is.
came on board, it was
mean,
like I got
one person
thrust in
every
the-
time.
I don't know what you're-
I hear
Well, they
it
should
too,
write a
I-
letter into all of council to see it.
I mean,
Okay,
it was originally a socialist children's like pledge to indoctrinate children. And it wasn't from the United States, like it's got this really weird history too.
It was a flag
But,
salesman.
but I think a big thing too is that folks, some folks are showing up because they're unhappy with government.
Mhm.
And we're all gonna be in lockstep repeating this oath, that respect everybody to participate in, so.
We got a
Okay,
number of
so-
emails.
And then there's the whole under God that was added in the 50s or whatever,
Right.
which
got
then
a-
makes it religious.
A number of emails like praising us for this
So-
decision.
I feel like Rick's got the gist.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to go on to another item, okay? As long as I'm making everybody.
You can tell this is not the council to bring it back, but maybe another iteration, you can suggest it.
Okay, I would like to talk about item F.
Can we finish?
Council-
Is it
We
okay?
kind of finished. I'm talking about the same thing, the item F, council member report.
Oh, yeah.
Item G.
Gee.
Gee,
Do we have?
different.
Okay, here's my
Anyway.
point. Okay, who's listening? I mean, look at the room. Are those reports for, I know we say they're for the public. The room is, there's not
It's on
many people in the
BCAT.
There are
room.
people on Zoom though.
There are, but we don't know how many. I looked at like the YouTube items that are posted afterwards. And those views will get like 32 people. I do believe that events that have citywide significance could be, as Jane already does, she puts out a few things, that are upcoming, like there's something upcoming, what was it? There's a,
Fix your energy bill.
well,
That's coming up. The
What do you
e-bike.
think is an
There's a-
example of something that doesn't work in this frame?
well, I mean, just what's the relevance of council member reports other than for each of us? So we know what you're doing in your district.
I will say on what Rick is saying, again, in my sort of time being on council, they went from just quick little check-in things to slideshows
Yeah.
with data and graphs and photos, and there didn't used to be
Yeah.
any photo, like that was the rare, it was like just like boom, 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 couple things, next person, boom, 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 a
And
couple
was
things.
it also?
Once in a
not
while-
uncommon to not- For people to not have a report?
Oh, yeah.
Things like that as
No
well.
report, no report,
There's
yeah.
report pressure.
There is report
Because you
pressure,
get this-
yeah.
this
Performative
slide of
report
shame.
pressure.
No slides.
So like, example
Yeah.
is, there's a ribbon cutting for the new
More the
playground on the
AI.
26th.
Yeah.
Hear the
That could be on James.
In one, yeah.
And so, but the fact.
You mean instead of like
We
the
could
ribbon
submit
cutting for
events.
kids up Lake Park?
That's
Instead of
my-
you doing it,
Well-
I would do it.
Yeah, because it's a citywide,
Yeah, and so
Or drive more people to subscribe
I
to our
will
email
say,
and put the
I'm
energy
getting
into a
emails
really
from
No more
robust
poetry?
city
wanting me
email.
to talk
he
about
say no
things
more
that
poetry?
are like, I'm not 100% sure if this is a sanctioned city thing. I'm having to double check with like, what is this event? What's going on? Because according to the SharePoint site that we have, for our council member things, there are rules on there that it's like a new something, a new business opening, a special event in the city, those kinds of things.
Okay.
And you're like,
I will say, your last report was several, that you don't have to do all the events. And we feel.
I'm just, that's what I'm saying. I'm
See,
fine.
that's the
If
report
we need to,
pressure.
like,
Listen.
There's report pressure and then there's also, I'm getting requests from like city members. And it's like, I don't know that this is making me old, like,
I think
this
that
is weird.
there is a point to what Michael's saying about the data and the new information, the new things that are coming out. However, it's a tool that has been used to push an agenda item further. I don't know how I feel about it, one way or the other. And I'm thinking like, the pictures of the parking, and that became an agenda item. Is that an appropriate place for us to bring up a new topic that's not in the protocol of our,
Are you dissing my
report?
video of the Queen song?
I
I hope so.
Ever.
It was awesome.
Never this queen. But I don't think I think it's relevant if it's like 5 minutes. I think we get our 5 minutes, yes, it's for us, and also it's for the community. The community likes to be celebrated, which was your intent in bringing up all the events and all the people, and to be kind and nice to everybody, and it's a positive thing.
But it's backfiring already.
Oh.
and my
Oh,
point is.
no,
Let's
I'm
do
saying
it.
like, I'm getting all these things. It's
Some
like,
So how
people are-
about, what if I just make it a 3-minute?
Sure.
You get 3 minutes, I'll time you, I'll tell you when you're done.
Yeah. I think that I like it, 3 minutes. But you don't have to tell us, we can also time ourselves.
Well, when you're on minute 4, I'm gonna tell you.
Do we get
That's
rollover
fair.
minutes?
No, no rollover.
Can I gift a minute?
No.
No.
Anna,
Can I seed my minutes?
Is there
No.
a credit card that I can earn more?
Do we?
One of the things that makes the council reports difficult for me is I think it's great that these events are happening, but they flash up on the screen. They're there for about 25 seconds, and then the next one is. That I think would be a really useful use of our council web pages. It's like.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Go to the District 6 to learn that on April 22nd, on May 20, what's this coming May? This coming
this
Saturday.
coming May is the
Hey, no, I
30th.
don't- Hey, I need my ibuprofen. Anyhow, that the new Marine Drive childcare grand opening event and celebration will be occurring. So you could like see that there and like
Yeah.
go back and check it out. Like there's things happening at the Roxy, left, right, and center. You could go there and check it out.
So are you saying that you could use your 3 minutes to announce them and then all of the slides should be put on the council website?
Or the slides
How
would just,
burdensome is that IT
Well,
wise?
We're
Don't get rid
building
of
out
them.
your council web pages, so that would be the place where we want to drive people, and it will be dynamic and we'll have information, so that's,
I thought,
the vision is that will serve as the place where they can find out what's happening in your district.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to see us have a really great newsletter, and not even by district, even just, you know.
Mhm.
as
Oh, a
whether
newsletter.
It's the city or and try to get, like, let people know that's where to get up to date stuff. Because then when we need to also get a message out, then we've built a great list. So we can move, if we put all the energy we put into reports, not only would it save a half an hour in our daily
Yes, that's my
schedule,
35
we could
minutes.
really create something good here as a tool to communicate.
I'm good with getting rid of the council member report.
Oh my gosh, no.
I don't think we should get rid of them either.
I think a 3 minute is worth a try.
I think it's a good compromise. I want to go on my soapbox
Well, we cut the
at
citizens.
least
the-
3 minutes after.
Yeah,
I
we
got-
did.
But is that,
Yeah.
is that the use of the council reports going on our soapbox?
I was being facetious.
Okay.
However, how is it best for us to reply when we do hear something that we don't agree with?
Did your council report?
Or when,
Yes.
when accusations, have been made and allegations have been made in public.
Can I offer that we table this part, and maybe we can have another conversation
So 3
About-
minutes.
about what we
I
want to
think when
create?
unified is an issue.
Because it's
Yeah.
also, like public recognition at the beginning could set the tone. We're now like, you know, we're kind of like setting the tone as we walk out of the room.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's, I think we should put some more thought into it than we're gonna be able to do tonight,
Okay.
2 minutes.
but I like 3 minutes.
No,
3
I'm saying,
minutes.
Do you have public comment? Did you want to have your own? I heard someone say.
No,
3 is.
No,
Well, it used to be
that's a fair
7
thing, though.
minutes.
It is, if it's 90 seconds for the public and we're just like, and I'm guilty of it, so that's why I get to talk. Like, if it's just this long thing, it's like, hey, no, wait a second, this is gonna be a couple of minutes. And we're gonna have better technology uses to put those things on to get that where you take your 3 minutes and you say, I just updated the website, please go to the
Yeah.
city website. It's got this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
and have the IT time us the same way they do the public.
Oh, I don't know about that. I was gonna say we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, we should.
But, you know, we should be a little more,
It is our
a little
meeting.
more civilized.
True, it is our
We
meeting.
could do it in Roman numbers.
Okay,
We'll just cough a
so I
lot.
think we
I'm like, I'm
We've-
okay.
I
But
like that.
beaten this to
do
death.
we wanna have kind of an agreement though, that we do stick to 3 minutes instead of 5?
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind.
I think 3 is
We don't
good,
have to change.
and then we
council.
can look at everything.
We
And
can
you can
change it to 3
preface it.
minutes on the yellow.
Okay,
And Jane, you can preface it by saying, you know, a lot of these will be available here.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're done?
Yes.
With that, we can all go home?
No.
Not quite.
The council will now go into executive session for 10 minutes to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or review the performance of a public employee as allowed under RCW 42.30.111. No action is anticipated.
button.
Got it?
Yeah, we're good.
Oops. Sorry.
She hit the keyboard instead of the gavel pad.
Jennifer, you might want to get your phone.
We will now continue with agenda bill briefings, and I will be presenting item C1.
Agenda pro.
We got enough people here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, agenda bill C1 is requesting for salary adjustment for Ann Williams pursuant to Bremerton Municipal Code Section 2.50.030 B2. So as the 5 members of council who have been here for at least 2 years, and then our newer council members who have been here for 5 months, is that correct?
Perfect.
We have an extremely high-performing employee who I was on the original interview panel, and she blew us away with all of her skills that she discussed with us. And frankly, she's exceeded my expectations from that. So we are allowed under council rules to provide her with a double bump pay raise. And I would like to see if the rest of council agrees that we should move forward with that.
Agree.
Agree.
And
Agreed.
just to clarify, it's not like a double pay, it's a double band. So can you
Yeah.
clarify that?
Yes.
Public?
That's like a two-job.
Two-step.
Yeah.
Two-step jump. Okay,
Two-step jump, not a double pay bump.
right.
Got it. Yeah, which I understood as.
We call it a double bump, but
Sure.
that's what it
For the
is.
public.
It's two paid. Okay, so how would you like to treat this?
Consent.
Consent.
Consent? Consent it is.
Double bump.
You go, ooh, ooh. Okay.
The bubble.
Wow.
Okay, now council will go into an executive session for 30 minutes
Deja too.
to discuss with legal counsel about legal risks of current or proposed action as allowed under RCW 42.30.1101I. No action is anticipated. We'll see you in 30 minutes. excuse me. The next council meeting will be on Wednesday, June 3rd, starting at 5:30 PM in the first floor meeting chambers of the Norm Dix Government Center. Public is invited to attend in person or remotely, and limited oral comment is resumed. If attending the meeting in person is difficult due to disability, limited mobility, or other barriers, participants may request to provide their comments remotely. To arrange this accommodation, please contact the city clerk by 2 PM the day before the regular city council meeting. Details can be found by clicking on the council alert at the top of the city council webpage. Meeting is adjourned. Good night.